shorten a link. The link is too long.
Welcome to Apologia Live, where a former Christian takes a look at the claims of Christians live from here from Apologia Studio in rugged Nova Scotia, Canada. Although today we are from dual locations. We are in Nova Scotia, Canada. We are also in Texas, America. That's how we say that, right? Texas, America.
That's
exactly how you say
it.
Joining me tonight are Shannon Q. And
Hello.
And Arden Hart.
Hello.
And Matt Dillahunty.
Hello.
All of whom you may know from the internet.
The Intron webs.
Yeah. We are here today to talk about Marvel, comics, and movies. We're here to talk about answers in Genesis. We're here to talk about theism. We're here to talk about whatever you guys bring up in the fundraiser questions, which you guys will drive that, or just anything we want, because this is a fun stream. We're not trying to have a rational conversation with the theist or anything like that, or just actually debunk anything or to solve any kind of cancer. But we are here to solve and hopefully raise money for MS Walk, which Shannon and I are doing next month. Shannon, tell everyone about MS Walk and the charity that we are gathered here together for.
So the MS Walk raises money for the Multiple Sclerosis Society. It's in the one that we're doing is in Canada because that's where we live. And I have multiple sclerosis. So it's something that is close to my heart. And I try to do it every year to raise money for the MS Society. I am one of the lucky ones who can still, do most everything, but it still does impact me on a daily basis in ways that I don't often publicly discuss, but am willing to if people have questions. And it's a really great charity. It doesn't only help with research, but it helps with people who are actively living with the disease today. People like me who need additional supports, whether or not it's like accommodations in their home, or if they need like a walker, or if they need therapy. They help with a multitude of things. And this is the biggest fundraiser that they have every year. And I'm not sure if people are aware about this, but I am exceptionally competitive. And right now my team is the #1 team in Canada. Paul joined my team today. So I am very, very, very much hoping that we can utilize this fun stream that we're all having together today to through my team and either my link on my channel or Paul's link on his channel to raise more donations for the MS Society. Yeah, that's my team. That's how much my team has raised so far. And I'm really excited about it. Initially, I had a goal of $1,000 and I thought that was really, really lofty. I was like, there's no way I'm going to raise $1,000. And I raised that in a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that I can hit my $5,000 goal like within, at least before the walk, which is in May. Maybe tonight. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll get there for sure.
Maybe it would be cool.
But here's the thing: Shannon and I are both very competitive, and so we have the Apologia goal for tonight. So if you want to donate to Team Apologia, you go to the link in the description, and you can post to my team. Now, ultimately, all this money goes to Shannon's team. It doesn't matter. But for the purpose of crediting tonight, if you are on Team No Coffee Table, Team No Coffee Table, pick my link. And Team Coffee Table, I guess you can go to Shannon's channel or look in the description.
That's not even my actual link, though. That's the team. I haven't raised that much money. I only have $700 raised on my link.
But we'll see.
We'll be able to see. You're padding the numbers right now, sir.
No, but it makes you look more impressive. That's all good.
My link only has $700.
I am now on Team No Coffee Table.
Oh, excellent.
What?
We are asking
not with regard to the MS Walk stuff, but we recently cleaned up the whole house in preparation for guests and everything else. And every time I look at the coffee table, I'm just like, all that thing does is give me an excuse to stack more shit in the house that I don't ever look at.
Then just stop doing it.
Okay.
Why are you hurting me?
And then what do I need a coffee table for if I'm not going to do that?
It's a nice place to put drinks and food. Yeah.
You can set.
I've almost kicked over his mug 700 times already this week. It's because it's always somewhere around the periphery of the couch on the floor.
Oh yeah, I would never. If it was on the floor, I would kick it over all the time. I definitely need a coffee table or end table at the very least. But
He's knocked over his own drink.
But
Never knocked over.
when it's on the floor, you're not going to break it. If that cup was on a coffee table and you knocked it over, you might break it.
You would have to work so much harder. The chances are so insurmountably like minuscule. If it's not like you'd have to try. You have to put some effort in. Like we would have to be like having a fist fight.
that huge dive from like a foot off the ground, you know, instead of being on the ground.
Valid.
Catastrophic.
And also, if it's near the couch, then that means when it spills, you have to move the couch because now you have to clean underneath the couch. Otherwise, it gets sticky and you'll get.
Why is that not a good thing? If you don't move the couch and clean underneath and behind the couch on occasion,
I'm not saying
all
you
you're
should
doing
never.
is setting up for a real big surprise the next time
Exactly.
Arden says,
That's a
"Hey,
straw
let's
man.
rearrange the living room."
I'm not saying you should never clean under your couch. I'm saying you have to do it more often than is necessary if you're constantly kicking drinks over underneath it.
Fair.
Seems like you'd be doing it exactly as often as is necessary. And
Yeah, well, that would otherwise be necessary if a coffee table was present. Could people just donate to my link to make me feel like?
So we are not doing. We're not doing super. Well, super chats, as you can see, super chats can be accepted this evening. But what we prefer is that you go to one of the MS Walk links and donate there. And if you comment on your donation there, we will absolutely read it out loud on stream.
Yeah,
if it's
you can leave a
appropriate.
comment.
If it's appropriate, and it's for charity, so be appropriate. But Skeptics and Scoundrels did say, fun isn't something one considers when talking about Answers in Genesis, but this does put a smile on my face. Well, thank you, Eric. Appreciate that.
Aww.
he just
Eric-
left here.
Yeah, he was at our house earlier
Eric,
today.
how have you got time to jump in and do this? He stayed last night so that he could check out the eclipse with us, which was nice.
Awesome. Well, ostensibly, we are here in a way to talk about Answers in Genesis. Now, Answers in Genesis is a creation ministry started by Ken Ham, and they are the creator of the Giant Ark Encounter attraction and the Creation Museum in Kentucky. Now, they, a few years ago, during the start of COVID, they couldn't get as many people out to their attractions. So what they said, you know what's hot? Netflix and streaming services. So they decided, while their attractions were down, that they would start their own streaming service, which I'm guessing most people don't know exists, but absolutely exists. It's called Answers TV. It's their very own Netflix.
Wait,
and for that, sorry,
wasn't there already a Christian Netflix, and now there's an Answers Netflix as well?
that's
You
correct.
didn't know that they have a Matt. You are missing
Shannon.
out
All of this
on the
garbage.
worst television you've ever seen, and it's glorious.
You
so bad.
really,
I'm so ready.
really need to have a conversation with me about how little time I spend listening to the absolute worst apologist on the planet.
Well, speaking of which, they also license all the Ray Comfort material, and you can watch that there as well. So that's on there.
Where do I sign up for that?
I would just like to say that I just got a $50 donation. Thank you, Martin Harvey. And
Woo.
it says, so tell Paul to bite the bullet. If you raise more today, the coffee table happens. Ha! Hit refresh.
Oh,
I'm telling the truth.
I believe
Thank you,
you.
Martin.
I think I may have to go to
And then go to donations.
Oh, there
we
we go.
There he is.
I'll figure this out.
Yay.
Not quite
And
as
Scouts
clean
Popper,
as-
thank you for your 1360. I appreciate you as well. Thank you. You didn't have anything to read. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, team. Shannon was right. I appreciate you.
Team Shannon was right.
That's the team I'm on.
Yes, that's right, Arden.
Somebody, and I couldn't
bitch.
really answer this appropriately because I didn't decide on this, but somebody in chat wanted to know why I was Thanos, and I don't know what Paul's reason was, but I think it's because I'm the one most likely to kill half the universe.
I think that is objectively true amongst the four of us.
Yeah, at least out of this pool of people here. For
Literally, if one of us was gonna snap, You're the snapper.
I think I could justify it.
you
I
could.
don't think I'd rationalize it quite the way he does. Plus, I've got like the grimace chin beard thing, so
That's true.
I wouldn't work as well as Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
Can we talk about Arden as Scarlet? Like,
Can we now?
The bob cut. Hello, is this
Mm,
happening?
mm-mm.
Is this coming?
Like, you need this charger
2024.
above. I was like, Arden, what the fuck?
I'll be in my bunk.
Sun's getting real low.
And evidently, Arden had a thing for Mark Ruffalo. So,
I mean, you have a thing for somebody. It's a good thing.
We watched a React channel watch 13 going on 30 earlier today with Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo, and that came out when I was like 9 or something like that, and I was like, oh my god, turn into an adult woman. That is what I want. As a 9-year-old kid, and get to be with Mark Ruffalo. All right, let's go.
Where do I sign?
So.
Now, did you change your mind after watching Poor Things?
haven't watched it.
I don't think I've watched that one. Yeah, no.
You should.
That was the Netflix show that won the awards, right?
Emma Stone got an
Emma
Oscar.
Stone, right?
Emma Stone won, Best Actress. Yeah.
Or was
I
Mark
want to watch
Ruffalo,
it, but I don't know anything about
He
it.
was not a good person in Poor Things, but he was great.
Yeah,
in
he's
it.
counter to type, and if it were not for Robert Downey Jr., he is who I would have voted for best supporting actor this year for sure.
Yeah. Oh, cool. We've been talking about wanting to watch it. We just haven't made the time. So
Make time.
Shannon and I have a tradition that we've done since I moved here, and that is that and I've had this tradition for quite a long time. I try and see every movie nominated for Best Picture before the Oscars start, before the ceremony starts.
It's a fun tradition.
Yeah.
So I've dragged Shannon into this, and you end up watching all kinds of weird movies that you would normally never watch. And sometimes they're terrible, and sometimes they are amazing. So yeah, it's good. American
Fiction was the best one we watched.
I need to duck out for 30 seconds because I think a prescription just got delivered to the front door, even though they didn't tell me that was going to happen.
Ruh-roh.
It's okay.
Happens all the time. They love to wait until this time of the day, right when all the shows of everything start to start delivery. It's real fun.
I got another donation.
Oh, another donation
from Dr. Kip, who has something he would like me to read on air.
I
would like you to refresh and read it yourself, Paul. You got donations too.
No, these are yours.
Oh, is that mine? Oh, I must get another one in the interim.
Dr. Kip.
Dr. Kip. There you go. Read
We
that,
have
Paul.
several. Hold on. Okay. All right.
Wow.
So Dr. Kip says the Oilers suck, Paul. Which, I mean, yeah, they're a couple points out of first place in the league, so that's really, really sucking. That's too bad. Too bad. Vandy, and we love you, Dr. Kip. Thank you for the donation.
Oh,
Appreciate
Vandy.
you.
Hi.
Vandy with a very generous donation. Now, these were probably, were started as American dollars that got converted. Vandy wrote, "Hi."
So that was like 55 cents American. Vandy writes,
right.
That's a deep cut. Like, if you know Vandy is usually one of the first people to comment on a video and always rates high. So I love it. That's awesome.
Gnostic Informant writes, "I vote for the coffee table team because I need them for books." Well, I don't know if you need them for books. I think you can read books without a coffee table.
Oh my God.
We do also have a stack of books on our coffee table. I can't lie.
And Luke, very generous donation. Thank you. Wrote, "Matt and Paul, your content was very challenging when I was Church of Christ preacher, so I really appreciate your work. I felt comfortable coming out as an agnostic atheist a year ago, largely due to your educational material. So all 4 of you have my deepest gratitude. Here's to the anti-coffee table fund." Well, they put it in the coffee table fund.
No, that one was for you. That one says Topologia. You must have found an aggregate.
This is an this is
the
team one is
because
aggregating.
you're at the team level. Yeah.
Well, that's actually better. That
is better.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sweet. Thank
Excellent.
you, Luke.
Nice.
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, keep it rolling, everyone. That's great.
And also,
so
Luke,
generous.
thank you. That means a lot to us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for paying that gratitude forward. I appreciate it.
All right. So Answers in Genesis streaming service, which I am the only person in Canada subscribed to, probably. I don't know. They have a movie review show because of course they do, because they just have to fill hours. And so
React content's popular, baby.
Except they review movies like, hey, let's get on and review Endgame, which is like, what? Wait, has not the whole world already seen Endgame from several years ago? That doesn't matter. We're on it.
Finger on the pulse.
finger on the pulse. Yeah.
It's a very weak pulse.
So I thought I would gather these Atheist Avengers here.
Let's go.
And
I want them to react to the original Ghostbusters in preparation for the new Ghostbusters. Because I can just imagine what kind of satanic stuff they'd go off on about that.
They probably find the new one equally satanic.
Oh, probably.
I mean, yoga
and the new
pants
one has
satanic,
probably like women in it and stuff. They don't like that.
Ew, women.
They're not a fan.
So we're gonna, if anyone wants on the panel, just say pause. I will pause it, and we can talk about what they're saying. This was an hour-long review, 15-minute review, but because they're a streaming service, not like YouTube or whatever, they're unregulated. So part of what they do is they just play like 5 minutes of the movie at a time in their review as well, because no one can stop them because there's no copyright checks on a private streaming service. So I had to trim all that out. So just in the audience, it's going to seem abrupt in a few places where for YouTube copyright, but we all remember Endgame. It was a movie that we all remember, so we don't need this. We don't need the context. All right, here we go.
I'm not ready.
This isn't your typical movie review show. We're not saying that you should or shouldn't watch the films we review, and we're not detailing all the objectionable material in them. Several websites do that already. Also, the brief clips used for humor, we're not endorsing those shows or actors either. Instead, we're examining the ideas and philosophies found in these movies from a biblical perspective to help you shift your thinking to align with the Bible. Tilt Shift.
This is a
Real
science
talk about
fiction
real
fantasy
ideas.
I that's confusing to me. It's a science fiction fantasy superhero movie. How does one align that with the Bible?
When Jesus came down and sacrificed himself to himself, did that also save Thanos?
That's a good question. It's a really good question.
Maybe they'll get into that.
Well, it's the sons of Adam, I think, only. So
I will say they're that smart. I don't think that they would have even realized that's a problem. My guess is, here's my prediction, that they're going to be like, someone was either gay or a woman and did something that they thought that gay people or women shouldn't do, and you should not like it, but you can probably still watch the movie, but you should know that that's not the way reality is, even though it's a fucking fantasy movie. That's my guess.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I thought their little intro was really bad, but I will say, mildly begrudgingly, I think Tilt Shift is a brilliant name for what they say they're going to do.
Explain, please, because I don't know if everyone knows what a tilt shift is.
So tilt shift is a camera style that got insanely popular because it gives you like the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood kind of view where everything looks like it's a miniature, even though it's real. I don't know enough about the camera thing to actually address that, but if what they're trying to do is shift your perspective, tilt your perspective so that you can get back on a biblical foundation. Well, I think that's one of the best names they could have come up with. Their introduction to this was crap, but the name's good.
It's not
agree.
clever.
It's an ironic name. Yeah. We have some more. We have Theocritic to the Apologia team, $100. Thank you, Theocritic. Much love to you both. Appreciate you. Melly, a $40 donation. Hashtag team don't make Shannon trip over coffee mugs on the floor.
Yay!
Let's go.
And Tommy Stewart with a $13 donation. Though I feel strong connection to Paul as a fellow cancer survivor, coincidentally how I became an atheist, I got to go team coffee table with Shannon here.
Nice.
I'm enjoying how much I'm winning. That makes me super happy.
Hi, and welcome to Tilt Shift. I'm Tim.
I'm Brian.
And today we're going to be checking out one of the most popular movies in history, and that is the Avengers Endgame, which is rated PG-13 for sequences of sci-fi violence and action and some language.
And it is the culmination.
What they mean is some bad language.
Some
because
bad
most movies have some language.
A little bit, right? Besides A Quiet Place,
right.
A little there. But
How relatable
bad
Tim's
language.
trying to be with his Nintendo shirt.
I love how they're both listed as author and speaker.
They wrote a book and they wrote things down, and sometimes they say stuff.
I mean, I'm just gonna name drop through all this. Forrest was over last night as well, and Forrest was talking about this video that he did with a creationist who wrote a book and filmed a movie about evolution and didn't even know what an allele was or any of the basics about the mechanisms behind evolution. And so when somebody lists themselves as author and speaker, like I wanted these guys to be listed as like author and filmmaker, because I think they're kind of making some film now.
Speaker, literally, if you just gather enough people together, I suppose you're a speaker, right?
Speaker's the thing I turn down when I don't want to annoy everybody else in the room.
Do you know what Tim Chafee wrote? Do you know what Tim Chafee wrote?
I don't.
No, what?
Tim Chafee wrote a heresy. He wrote Noah's Ark fan fiction.
Oh, but that's not what he's known for. But yes, he did.
But
do
that is his author credit.
I don't know if
sure.
I've heard of that, but now I'm so curious.
They sell it at AIG, and he basically wrote like volumes of like a fictional story that is like all about like Noah and what his life was like.
I thought that was the Bible.
No. The Bible didn't extrapolate enough. We needed some like character building. We needed a lot of background filled in. He just made a fictional world where he took Noah from the Bible and just expounded upon it with his own musings about who Noah was and what his family was like and what they did and where they worked and what they ate for breakfast, and wrote it all down in a fan fiction novel.
This is
series.
It feels heretical.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody should tell him what Revelation 22:18 says. Because,
Well, Tim is best known as author of, he wrote every sign in the Ark Encounter. He's the sign writer.
Oh my gosh. I took pictures of those specifically because they were bad.
Yeah.
Thank Tim.
But there is a sign. It's funny, Matt, that you brought that up, because there is literally a sign. You would have seen it. They acknowledge that they're going beyond the Bible, and that they're not. They say they're not breaking that verse, because this is artistic license. We're not adding to the Bible, which is like a distinction without a difference, as far as I can tell.
That's
artistic license isn't adding to the Bible. No, how could it be?
Yeah, and they get kids to read them in homeschooling as literature.
It's like, it's the way the Bible ends. Now, I think there's a really good case that Revelation probably shouldn't have been included. It's like the ravings of a madman, and there were many discussions about whether or not it should be included at all. But Revelation 22:18 is, for I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And so if you're writing fanfic that adds to the story of Noah, I guess you should be ready for fucking locusts.
You could even go to Deuteronomy. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you. Deuteronomy 4:2.
You know what's funny is, and I will, because we're trying to be decent people raising money for MS, I'll try and avoid some F-bombs. But
you can swear. Fuck it.
It's funny that two of us have quoted from the Bible in response to the opening remarks about this Answers in Genesis thing. Let's see how long they go before they reference the Bible.
Yeah, that's a good question. Good question.
This is the true tilt shift. Shannon and Matt are going to teach you more about the Bible than these authors and speakers from Answers in Genesis.
Oh, you guys are the best. I'm gonna end up crying by the end of this.
Frankie, to Team Paulogia, thank you for that. $35. Paul, Shannon, Arden, Matt, you guys have been a huge part of my deconversion from Christianity. Thank you for everything you do. I've been feeling a bit disoriented and nihilistic. Since I no longer believe I have divine purpose, I've been feeling like I need to act as if things mattered, even if they don't. Even if I don't feel like they do. and hopefully my perspective will change. This is one of few small steps toward that for me. Hope you guys got a glimpse of the eclipse today. Well, thank you so much, Frankie, and I hope I hope this is a small step on your journey towards not feeling nihilistic.
That's amazing.
And for Gnostic Informant, I use the King James because I don't want to come up with any copyright issues. So I've got an NIV sitting right next to me, but who knows if they'll allow an atheist to quote from it.
And Rick Hahn, thank you for the $50. Good luck, he says. And thank you. Appreciate you, Rick. That's awesome.
It is the culmination of 23 different movies.
Yeah, so all of these Marvel heroes, the Hulk, and like 3 Iron Mans and 3 Captain Americas, 3 Thors.
Okay, this is where I'm confused. What three? So the 3 Iron Mans I can get, because maybe he's talking about like.
Well, Pepper was in an Iron Man costume.
Pepper, as well.
I think he just means. Character. They said 23 movies. I think he just means Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 3.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah. There were 3 Iron Man movies and 3 Thor movies.
Were there 3? Yeah. There was original Winter Soldier.
And Civil War.
Captain America.
Civil War. Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes way more sense. Because I was like, I can get to the 3 Iron Man, but I can't get to the 3 Captain Americas. There's only 2.
Matt's here to
Captain America, the first Avenger. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America Civil War.
Yes.
Which most people view as an Avengers movie, but it's Captain America.
It is a Captain America movie. Gotcha. Okay.
Matt is the creationist whisperer here. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And a reminder to everyone,
out of nonsense into sense.
Rather than super chats for tonight, please donate to the MS Walk. That's what we're here for tonight.
It's not perfect by any stretch, but it is so well done. I mean, really, storytelling overall, to pull all that and pull it all together, it's a masterpiece in that sense. And so I enjoyed it big time for that reason.
Yeah, when I think about it as a writer, I've written a trilogy about Noah's life and trying to think of all these storylines. Thank you. Trying to...
there it is.
He wrote the trilogy.
It's funny that the 3 books are Man of God, Man of Resolve, and Man of Destiny. And where's the 4th one, which is Man of Alcoholism?
That's right.
Man of nudity.
Man of shame. Yeah.
Man of cursing your son to be a slave of the other sons.
Yeah. You can't work. Curse of Ham needs to be another follow.
Maybe that's the destiny part. He worked out that destiny really well.
And what's absolutely batshit crazy too is like if you read the story of Noah and the Ark in the Bible, there's 2 versions, but those 2 versions take up literal pages in the Bible, and he managed to pull that out into 3 volumes, which means he had to add so much for that to even be a plausible endeavor.
I love it. I
want to see nothing
redone as like an anime.
Right? That's all out of his head.
Larry Fishman for $50. Hashtag buy your wife a damn hot coffee table. You didn't blaspheme in there. I added that in. So thank you, Larry. Appreciate you. Although that ended up going on to my team. So it's a mixed message. Mixed message at best.
I'll allow it. I feel good about it because they wanted you to see it directly.
Claire for $30. You deserve a coffee table. Show Paul who's boss. All right. Well, I hope the fine people at the MS Walk are going to be very confused by these incoming donations.
I can't wait because they announce when you go to the walk, and then you get to go up on stage if you have the top team. I can't wait. I've actually done it before because I was the first before, and I said I would like to thank the atheist community, and it just but I didn't care because you guys are the ones who did it for me before when I did a fundraiser with Dr. Josh in the past. And I'll do it again.
Cute.
Weave all these storylines together. That's just 3 books. Yeah. And trying to keep those all straight and all the things I had to do. And to do so many different characters, so many different storylines. That's impressive. Yeah. It really is impressive. And throughout the series, of course, the special effects are getting better and better because it's been taking place over like a 12-year or 13-year time period.
Of course, these guys think that their 66 books are really well harmonized as well. So, it's faint praise from these guys.
To be fair, though, when Shannon was pointing out that the Noah story is only a couple pages, I mean, it's like Genesis 7, 8, and 9 or something like that. But Noah lived for 850 years. We got to tell something about all those other years. So of course you should do some fan fiction. It distracts from the actual absurdity that somebody lived to be 850 years old, that they started building a boat when they were 500. I hope I'm doing that when I'm 500.
Just building a boat.
I hope I'm not building boats because everybody's about to die when I'm 500. That's what I hope. 500 would be so long.
And of course, it kept ramping up more and more and more drama. And the seventh, the one before this, right, which would have been the third Avengers film, Infinity War, ended on a note that if you went to it in the theater, which I didn't do, most people were shocked by it. I don't know why they would have been shocked.
That's a virtue signal, by the way.
Why?
To his audience, that would be a virtue signal.
Oh, that he didn't go in the theater?
I didn't go see that in the theater.
But he did see it, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
Is it the amount of money that he would have
given? Yeah, because you're not... the perception is you're not giving them...
But that means that he's subscribed to Disney Plus. That would be how he saw it, unless he stole it. And
That's
you wouldn't
true,
want
and
to
they're
steal
very
it,
anti-Disney
which means
Plus.
that over time, you're giving Disney money every single month, which cumulatively would be less than one individual movie ticket. So I'm not even sure why that's a virtue signal. And it's saying that I'm so invested in wanting to watch these things that I'm willing to give money to this company so that I can perceive, view, consume the things that they produce. And they certainly aren't on board with Disney, I'm assuming, based on how Disney is.
No, in fact, they view Disney Plus as their competitor, although I'm sure Disney Plus is unaware that they exist.
That's real cute. That's adorable.
I'm pretty sure G-Man views himself as my competitor.
Yeah, exactly.
I was out with my cousins and I saw that Paul was streaming and I was like, oh no. Is it 2015 again? I'm so... did I hit my head?
Hold on, I gotta get back to this. Much love to you all from Matthew K. I must ask, since Paul is opposed to coffee tables, what about side tables? No, same thing. Perhaps you could compromise so Shannon isn't tripping over mugs. If you have side tables already, then what the fuck, Paul? Well, it's all clutter magnets.
I'm enjoying that your donations are just encouraging me.
Paul would hate our living room right now, and it's...
Oh, I'm sure of that. Paul would hate our entire house.
Yeah, no, our house would drive him nuts right now.
Well,
we just cleaned it.
Even like the background, you can see.
I would want to organize it. Would you let me just go through your house and put
things
in piles?
I would give you money.
Are you not flying down today?
Oh, I would do that and be so excited. Sometimes for fun, if I have a weekend free, I will just take everything out of a closet and just reorganize it and donate a bunch of stuff.
Can we switch
this? How much do you want?
How much do you want? I will down to Austin to fix our freaking house.
Yeah. I need to come to Austin soon. I miss you guys. We need to hang out again.
I've got oodles and gobs of reptiles and rodents and all kinds of stuff. I
want to hang out with the Snicks.
Andre Flacaris, I think. I'm not sure. I don't have much and struggle with my own health issues. Here's a small donation.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate you, and please don't feel obligated to donate. Please just enjoy the show if need be, but we definitely appreciate. Patrick Kelly for $50 writes 3 volumes. How many locusts is that?
I feel like Noah was pre-locust. Locusts were Moses, right?
God existed.
God was sending plagues. Well, I mean, yes. Well, no, because they all died.
No, because
depends on which volume. Because there was 2 locusts on the boat.
No, because they don't have the nostrils for
then
air.
they all died. Or they didn't exist yet. Those are the only 2 options.
No, they floated on leaves and stuff because that's what Answers in Genesis answers.
No, you're right.
Say.
I'm an idiot.
Oh,
that was dumb. It was dumb of me to suggest that. While the kangaroos were getting blasted by volcanoes to Australia, the locusts were floating around on leaves.
See, now you're getting it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm the moron.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is with me.
Claude Simeon, $34 donation. Go heathen, which is just the general. I mean, all of us are heathens in our own way. So
Go heathen.
So that's a general cheer. Perfect. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the support so far.
They know there has to be another movie. So that
it was a good twist.
Sorry, what was that, Arden?
No, I was just thinking it looked like we cracked 4,000 on the list, right? That's pretty exciting. But I interrupted.
Oh yeah, we did. Absolutely. Yeah.
Did we crack 4,000?
Yeah. We're probably gonna get 5,000 by the end of the night. Easy. Come on, you guys.
I'm gonna have to change my goal again. I thought I would never get 1,000. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, sorry, I'm fine. Let's do the. People want to watch us talk about Endgame. I'm being selfish. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really excited though.
Yeah, well,
as opposed to Last Jedi. But
yeah.
Anyway.
So they're what they call the snap, where Thanos gets all the Infinity Stones, snaps, and half the inhabitants of the universe.
So it's like it seems like he wins.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so Spider-Man gone, and a bunch of characters that people like gone, and you can't believe that's just happened.
Right.
So Endgame picks up there, and so in the first 20 minutes they're angry, they lost.
That's right.
And they find Thanos in a weakened state.
That's where Tim really robbed himself, because if you're in a theater filled with Marvel fans,
oh yeah,
while each of those characters is dusting, even though in the back of your head you know they'll come back next movie, like that was some deeply emotional, generational hurt that they put on us there. So Tim missed out.
I know. There's nothing like being there opening night. Like I can't wait for Deadpool to come out for that reason. Like, I like the only other experience that was similar to Endgame was Spider-Man No Way Home. Seeing Spider-Man No Way Home on opening night, like, because there's nothing like seeing it in a live theater on opening night with fans.
Sure. Yeah, big time.
There's no comparison because you're sharing an experience with people who it matters to. Like, because people may not know, but every person on this stream is a Marvel fan.
Right.
All four of us have had many conversations about our fandom of Marvel and sci-fi in general. Like, we're all sci-fi fans. So yeah, these guys are touching on a thing that I love. Like, I mean, I love society and the human race, and they fuck with that all the time, and that pisses me off. But this also pisses me off on a whole nother level, because not like you're messing with something that I love as an escape, too, right? Like, you're fucking with something that I enjoy as like escapism from your bullshit. Now you're ruining that for me too. Like, fuck you. Stop it. Stop touching everything. Stop touching things. Leave your fucking fingers to yourselves. Not everything needs to belong to you.
What did he do? He took those Infinity Stones and used them to destroy
the Infinity
Stones. So they're gone. So nobody can fix it, right?
You can't undo the snap. It's done. Right.
And it almost killed him. Some of the Avengers show up, a few that are left, and they kill Thanos. 20 minutes in, movie done. Vengeance, right?
But the problem is they've got no more hope. There's no way to fix the problem. They can't bring the people back, and so now they feel broken. They feel hopeless, and the
movie makes you feel that, because
it really does.
The first 20 minutes are actually pretty slow. After they kill Thanos, it's still really slow and gritty a little bit.
Yeah.
But as soon as they kill Thanos, then they cut to a thing that is 5 years later. Let's take a look at what the first thing they show us after that.
After 5 years.
There it is, 5 years later.
Look at that.
Should have been 7.
And it's foggy too.
It should have been 7.
Yeah, why? I don't understand that.
Because
Can somebody explain that to me?
Everything biblical has to be 7, not 5.
This is a
5's not a magic number in Kabbalah.
It's not a special
This is a movie
number.
about an alien from space eliminated half of the universe's population.
Part of being an evangelical Christian is having favorite numbers.
Yeah. I remember.
That's crazy. Okay.
I remember to this day a sermon that a pastor gave about the significance of the Trinity in 3. And it was a huge impact, because it's like, if you look at your finger, there are 3 segments. And then you can also consider your arm as 3 segments: the hand, the forearm, and the upper arm. Then you could view your body as your head, your torso, and this. And there's 3 things on a stool, and there's 3 of this. There's 3 layers to your skin. There's 3 parts to your eye. There's 3 of this and 3 of this.
There's a whole many more than 3 parts to your eye.
Yeah, okay. But you can, because you can divide things up. There's a beginning, a middle, and end. There's youth and middle age and old age, and it was just this absolute like if you didn't think about it, you're like, holy crap, 3 is so important. And then I watched somebody do something similar with 4 and 5. I've got 5 fingers on this hand, and I've got 5 fingers on this hand. And, you know, once you dig into it, but it's funny that he's like, oh, it should have been 7. Because I think he's making a joke about the significance of 7 and why it should have been in there. I don't think he's serious.
Yeah, I know.
Wouldn't they dislike numerology, one would think? Because I feel like numerology.
Not biblical numerology.
Not biblical.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not their brand of numerology. I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot that
secular people just
doesn't apply.
Secular people just have 666 and 69. Those are the only 2 numbers that secular people
42.
have.
No,
That's right. We got 42.
And 420.
That's true.
That's just 42 with a 0.
Everyone's got their favorite numbers.
Who's got your towel?
Yeah.
Grab your towel.
Perfect.
Speaking of 420,
that's what we need for this stream.
I'm gonna pet that dog in a minute.
I went on a date the other day, but I'm seeing them again tomorrow. So
I knew they were going to do this.
That's great. You did the hardest part. You took the jump. You didn't know where you were going to come down. And that's it. That's those little brave baby steps we got to take.
And you guys will notice as you watch the clip, he's talking about the man went on a date with another man.
Right.
Oh, that's the
and
Stop.
This movie is like 3 hours long.
5 years later, and the first thing we talk about is a couple of guys having sex.
They just went on a date.
You don't know that they didn't have sex. They're gay.
I
They
don't know
must
that
have
they
had sex.
did.
Every gay person has sex on their first date. Trust me, I'm gay, homie. I know.
Okay, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
The full clip talks about how they just cried throughout
so
the date.
hard. That's, you know what's wild is that it didn't even register to me that this was a thing that happened in the movie because it's just a normal person talking about normal stuff that normal people do.
It's so innocuous. Like, I wouldn't even hone in on it at all.
I didn't notice until there were complaints. Like, I didn't even notice the language.
Right.
It was just somebody went on a date and this happened. And the pronouns didn't even register in my head. It was just, I was connecting with someone who was going through an emotional thing. And yet these guys are absolutely, did he say that he went on a date with a man? Yeah,
and it's like, it's such a throwaway, like instantaneous throwaway thing. Like the only point of this, like from like a plot progression standpoint, is that this is showing you where Steve Rogers is, Captain America is at this point in his life and what he's doing and like who he is as a person after the snap and how he's coping and how he's applying himself, because he was a hero who always wanted to help people and doesn't have a villain, but still wants to help people. So is choosing to do so the best way he knows how. Like that is the point of this. The fact that it happens to be that he's in a group therapy session. And I'm sure other people said things too. I don't remember, but I'm certain other people probably said things too in the group therapy session because they were a group therapy session. They focus in on the one person who's disparate from their ideology and make a point of singling them out. As though that, like, and it could have just passed.
It was a homosexual, of course.
They was a queer.
And the director of the movie.
Oh, was that the director?
Yeah.
No shit. I didn't even know that.
It's one of the Russos, yep.
No shit. Cool. That's just a cool little point of fact that now I have in my head that I didn't have before.
I think Matt not noticing was what AIG has a problem with. They have more of a problem that Matt didn't notice than that it was in there.
Why?
That means they're losing. They're losing the culture war.
Oh, because that means that people are just
if you're not at least like, maybe you don't have to be outraged anymore, but you should at least feel weird for a second or two, right?
It's like
what they want.
I can't wait for them to do their special episode where they're upset that I didn't notice that Barbie was about feminism.
Did they do Barbie? I don't watch politics.
No, they haven't done Barbie yet. Shannon, I will tell you when they do Barbie.
They'll get to it in like 4 or 5 years, right?
That's right, yeah.
That's about the time span.
7 years.
Sometime in 2036. They will focus on Barbie.
and knows Captain America's response, and that is, oh, that's great, that's awesome. And he totally doesn't respond to it at all. He just accepts what the man says as natural, as normative, as good.
Yeah.
But understand who
Captain America should have just punched him in the nose, apparently. This is what Brian wanted him to do.
Like, you a queer?
Make sure you punch Nazis and queers.
That's right. Don't go being sad in this group if you're one of them queers. What the fuck? It's a group therapy session. Jesus.
But basically
Christ.
what they said is, I'm just like Captain America because I just treated like it was normal too.
Exactly. Yeah.
It floated right past me the first time. Like, I've watched the movie a couple of times, and it just floated right past me. Like, I just remember when Falcon came in after and talked to him, and they were stacking chairs together, and like, because that conversation was about the progression, it just floated right past me. Didn't even register that it happened until they pointed it out.
America is in this course of the films. He's the guy who
He's the
started out really like in the 1940s, 30s. Is that his story, or was he back in the 20s?
A while back.
Yeah. And so he's
back with the Nazis. So
yes.
The editors put notes on the screen when the guys are wrong about
when
stuff.
they don't know history. Yeah.
So he's the
So Answers in Genesis theoretically has someone on staff who knows how to fact check something.
Always recent history.
Oh,
Throwing shade.
Find out who that person is and why they're not involved in other things.
Exactly. Like, just on the movie show.
virtuous character. He's the moral character.
The moral compass, if you will.
Yeah, he's the moral compass of that whole group. And when the guy talked about going on a date with another man, that's great. Those are those brave baby steps. How many times do we hear in our culture that it's brave for people to come out?
Yeah, but Cap wasn't saying he was brave to date a dude. Cap was saying he was brave to try to build a normal life again.
To make connections with humans when he was scared.
I'm not reading this guy's Noah's book. There must be.
That's because you're a bigot against Christians. That's why.
We have an anonymous donor for $13.60. Says, "Go Paul." I can get behind this message. Go Paul. $340. Wow. Gerald Norris. Thanks for what y'all do. Thank you, Gerald. That is greatly appreciated. The MS Walk. Thanks to you as well. And Gnostic Informant. Oh, going for the double dip. Just one small double dip. Thank you, Gnostic Informant. Dillahunty Thanos should be eternally immortalized for the debate with Jordan Peterson when JBP said that psychedelics demonstrate the supernatural because some people quit smoking after.
Yes.
Yeah. People will be watching that 100 years from now. Also, my cousin with MS will be happy to see the stream. Well, hello to your cousin, Neil. I honestly hope that people in 100 years have no idea who Jordan Peterson is.
I hope people in 100 years don't know who any of us are, because that means the odds are that maybe we've gotten past this crap.
CPO fast forward, $10 on the Shannon Q team.
Thank you.
I spent 30 years in the Royal Canadian Navy. Thank you for your service. And have enough tales for 3 volumes. Maybe AIG should cover me. And go Team Paul. The trouble is you have true stories that are true and based in true things. Whereas the others are fan fiction. So they're not as interested. H. Walker, $15 for the Apologia team. To convey one's mood in 17 syllables is very difficult.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah. Funny. I think that's the new one since last time. Thank you, everyone. You're being so generous. So as you can tell, we are not reading the super chats today, but what we are reading is the MS Walk donations. You can find link to Team Apologia in the description. Shannon, you should maybe in the chat throw your description. Your link
mine's on my channel, but so I guess
you might be watching on Team Shannon on because we're simulcasting on Shannon Q and Apologia channels. So
you can go to Apologies link and then navigate to the team and then find mine.
That's right. You can do that. All right.
And yet, if what's been going on for the last 10 years, you'll get a call from the president. You know, if you're an athlete who comes out, you'll get, all these things where you're praised.
I just love the delusional world they live in, where if you're gay, like you get a personal handshake from the president, like the first lady delivers your child, you know.
I know. And then everybody just rolls out a red carpet for you and is like, would
You're
you like
so
the best
brave.
of everything we have to offer in society?
Yeah.
That's 100% what happens. That it's wild to me. Like the disparate understanding of what it just goes to show that they perceive when you've had nothing but privilege, you perceive the loss of that privilege as discrimination.
Yeah.
You perceive anybody else having the opportunities that you avail of and entirely take for granted and see as the default for someone like you. Anybody having equal footing is just, that's an advantage in your eyes because you don't even know what the fuck advantage means because it's the default for you.
I think it's even worse than that too, because it's like, it's not even just that they lost privilege. It's that like they lost the right to oppress other people. And that it's not even like they lost anything other than the right to like, or like being the normal one in society or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they necessarily lost privilege, but just the fact that they aren't able to openly be homophobic without being like, you know, having social repercussions is enough to think like, oh wow, these people just get everything now. Like it's just an insane disparity.
Is it wrong to ship these two? Because if you go back, they're sitting in the exact same way with their legs in the same position. They're making the same motion with their arms. I think they doth protest too much.
They're enjoying the same types of things. They're sharing an experience. I don't know.
It's like a date. They went to the movies.
See, they got popcorn.
Yeah, no. They made it very clear that they did not go to the movies.
They brought the movies to them because they were afraid to be seen together in public.
They watched this in the intimacy of their own homes.
Mm.
They wouldn't do it publicly.
Or the studio that they put together for this.
They did do a decent job of trying to be like, we do science fiction. I see a Ninja Turtle and a Yoda.
Yep.
And some sort of pink unicorn next to Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
There's several PopCap figures, but I'm not sure what they are. It's difficult for me to tell from here. And then there's movie posters in the background. I think one of them is Star Wars.
The Star Wars. I think there's a Godzilla.
I see Denzel Washington's face, so I'm going to say maybe Remember the Titans.
Wouldn't all these count as idols?
Lord of the Rings? Potentially.
Well,
it depends on how seriously you take things.
Is an idol I guess they would be. Yeah, that's right. They're not graven images. They're not like representing gods, but yeah, they absolutely would be idols. Yeah. Anything you worship above, anything you put above God. Actually,
I'm just saying, if they've got a bunch of like secular movie posters and a Yoda and all this, where's Jesus? I don't see Jesus or like Passion of the Christ posters or anything like that.
Good point.
Good point. Yeah, because they have lots to choose from. But then they would be promoting competition potentially.
To be fair, I can't see all the posters because it's
it's a little dark.
But I know one is for sure Lord of the Rings. I see Denzel Washington. It looks like Remember the Titans. There's a Star Wars one. Back to the Future is the far left. The only one I can't figure out is the middle one, the one that's right behind Tim's left shoulder.
I think that's Godzilla.
Is that Godzilla?
Yeah.
The rest of them I think I got. That one I can't be. It's just like a blue blob to me. I don't.
Just because I watched this show more than you guys. Because why wouldn't I have? Yeah.
Because you are as a person.
Really take bravery in our culture to do that.
And really what I want to point out, and I know we've talked about this with that clip, is how normal it's just presented. It's presented as something normative, and thus if it's normal, it's just right and good. And that whole idea that a homosexual relationship being normative and good is anti-biblical, and actually it's really harmful to human flourishing, to humans as people, and it's unbiblical, but they're presenting it as good.
It's horrible for human flourishing for gay people to be presented as normal.
Yeah.
Not even celebrated. Just like
just normal.
Just normal in society. Like
because it's not like Steve set off a confetti cannon when Buddy was like, I went on a date with a guy. He wasn't like, woo!
Let's go gays.
Don't be gay. Let's destroy society.
You got my tidy whities with my cap
like
shield.
A human does to somebody having an experience in their life that they wanted support for, and that's what they fucking hate.
I need to hear him like attempt to substantiate the claim that it's bad for human flourishing. Like,
it's because homosexuals don't reproduce. But the flip side is you're never going to get slapped with a paternity suit.
And also, homosexuals are a subset of the population. So people will still reproduce. It's almost like tacitly saying, if you had the choice to be gay and not straight, all of us would choose to be gay instead of straight, and then no one would reproduce.
Right.
Which is insane.
It's true, right?
It's almost like saying, well, I'm gay and you're gay, and we would be gay if we could be gay, but we can't. Therefore, now we can have babies with women, because if we had a choice, we wouldn't. Am I right? That's what they're fucking saying. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know why these guys are choosing to pretend like they're straight.
We are putting many a tick in the ship, these guys call them. That is happening rapidly.
They have self-control because the answers are in Genesis. That's the way that goes.
Good tie-in.
This thing's an hour long, and we haven't even got past Cap congratulating someone for having gay sex.
Yeah,
the cut only 27. So anyway,
he didn't even know they went on a date. It was just like I had coffee with the guy.
I was
sad.
I would love to know if Brian or Tim laughed or how they felt when the America's ass joke came in this movie. Like, this very movie has
Also,
Captain America admiring his own ass.
How gay can you get? Right. I mean, like, I'm looking at my ass going, that's a great ass, right? That's America's ass.
America's ass.
I want to see if these guys actually address the important thing from this, which is that they're talking about going out on a date and when each of them cried. So the whole thing about this scene is it's been 5 years and the world is a shambles, and we're just looking at a tiny little area on our one tiny little planet. And I'm going to bet they don't mention the crying thing at all. Not even to say that it's potentially a good thing or that this shows, maturity and that it's okay for dudes to cry. Because if they think it's not okay for dudes to hang out or go on dates, they're probably not that cool with crying.
Oh, I bet.
No, probably cried, that's for sure.
Yeah, Noah didn't cry. He just built a boat.
Yeah,
watched everybody around him drown. Ha ha ha.
Then got drunk and naked.
Yeah.
And exposed himself to his male children.
They probably, were very conflicted with the Russell Crowe Noah. They probably felt different ways about it.
If you keep hearing that idea again and again and see it like that, and then the moral compass of this movie, marathon, and this man says, no, it's good and right, good on you, and then that idea to the audience is seen as good and right and normative.
And here's the other thing. What's the point of that scene?
It's really not.
I knew they didn't know the point of that scene.
We spent 20 minutes explaining the point of that scene.
Let's see if he gets it right.
With a woman, would the scene have been kept in the movie? No, there's no point to it other than push this idea.
There's absolutely no point to talking about the real world experiences and the trauma and how people are coping with 5 years of losing half of the people in the universe. Why did we even keep that in? That's some woke bullshit right there.
Because if a straight person, like if that character, who was the director, I guess, had said, I went on a date with a woman and all other things were kept equal, we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation.
Yep.
We would not be having the conversation, and and I don't believe that they don't get it. I believe that they refuse to get it because then they would have to acknowledge that queer people have the same type of fucking feelings.
Right. They also have emotions.
Yeah. They have the same type of feelings and orientations towards other people.
I know that these guys absolutely know that queer folks have feelings because they're constantly trying to provoke those feelings with their mockery and derision.
I would go so far as to say that they are not attempting to provoke queer people's feelings. They are attempting to embolden bigots' feelings. And they are completely disregarding queer people's feelings because they don't matter to them.
All right, so we've got a useless scene.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
we just spent like 30 minutes on a useless scene.
Half
what
the
the hell's
universe
wrong
is
with
dead,
us?
and nobody cares. Especially if you're gay, because why would you, right? You should just be straight and not be sad.
Chip Payette, $150 to the Team Shannon Q. Go Shannon Q and Team Coffee Table.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
We have Anonymous, a $10 anonymous donation to Shannon Q. Thank you. And another anonymous $50 to my team, Pelagia. So there we go.
Oh my
Did
gosh!
Thank
we
you,
note that you already crossed
$5,000.
Paul's link already crossed its $1,000 mark?
Oh, did I? I haven't refreshed mine. Oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
You're at 1167.
Did I?
Yay!
I don't think I did.
You're at Shannon.
Oh my
You're almost
God.
at 5. You're almost at 5, Shannon.
No,
You're
that's the team. That's the whole
that's the
team.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I need to.
That's not me.
One of these, I need to pull up your private link here sometime. But yeah.
That's the team. I'll go look.
All right.
Maybe I'll hit mine too.
That's pretty good considering we haven't even got past the gay sex scene.
We haven't. That's right.
Gay sex breeze in the box.
Wait till they hear about the casting.
It was
for
like a
Silver
gay
Surfer.
conversation where everyone cried.
Did you? So casting of Silver Surfer. Did you watch Ozark?
I watched the first season of Ozark and thought I loved it. It was brilliant. I wanted to watch more, and I got distracted with 20 other things.
I have not watched any of it.
But she is the Ruth. I forget the actress's name, but the actress who plays Ruth is like Jason Bateman's good, but she is the heart of that show. And so if you can add good acting to a cast, like that's never a mistake.
Yeah.
And the fact that Silver Surfer, almost as long as there's been a Silver Surfer, there's been a female version.
Yeah, Julia Garner is playing Shala Ball.
So yeah, the watching people freak out about this is weird.
Yeah, we have to watch Ozark.
Do you think that means Galactus is the villain in Fantastic Four?
Yes. I don't think there's any chance that Galactus actually in the Fantastic Four movie. I don't think you'll see Galactus till near the end. I think it's going to be Shala Ball as a quasi villain that leads to
Galactus,
her being the herald of Galactus and justifying it. But what the hell do I know?
Do you think Galactus is going to interact with the multiverse? Sorry, Paul. Like,
yep.
I don't think Fantastic Four can realistically, especially since it's in like the 60s, I think, be in 616.
No, I think the Fantastic Four is coming from something outside of 616, and Galactus is eating universes, not galaxies.
Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe that'll interact with the whole multiverse thing. And then what they pulled Doctor Strange in. I can't remember the name of the character that Charlize Theron was playing.
Clea. Yeah,
Clea, thank you. That pulled him in, and I think that is going to interact at the end. That's what I think.
I think it'll be in the as yet unnamed Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can't do the Kangs.
It was named and now
the Kangs are done now.
It's been unnamed, right?
Anyway, back to these guys, because they're not going to get to those movies until 2073.
No. Theology somewhere in the film, because it doesn't really show up the rest of the film.
Right.
It's just right here in an unnecessary scene. Well, there's other things that are promoted. This one's more of a little bit of a political ideology, and it's one that is controversial for a lot of people. I just want people to see this kind of idea thrown in there, and we've heard this kind of debate. Listen to what Tony Stark says, and this guy who is Iron Man. Yeah. So let's take a look here.
Oh, I'm all ears.
And I believe I remember telling Tony, live and otherwise, that what we needed was a pseudo armor around the world. Remember that? Whether it impacted our precious freedoms or not. That's what we needed.
Well, that didn't work out, did it?
I said we'd lose. You said, we'll do that together too. And guess what, Cap? We lost.
So we needed this armor around the earth, but that would mean people have to give up their precious freedoms. And we've heard that debate in our culture for the past several decades, especially since 9/11. that, we need to take certain steps. Yeah, you'll give up some of your freedom. Think about it. You fly a lot more than I do.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I've flown to Israel. You
Good
haven't,
old
but,
TSA.
But yeah, it takes an hour and a half or 2 hours to get to the plane
virtue
now.
signaling. I've flown to Israel and you haven't? Is that just straight up virtue signaling?
I think that's interstaff.
Remember when I went to Israel and you didn't get to go?
Yeah. It probably is.
I don't know what they're getting at though. I'm confused.
That's because you and I are Canadian.
Americans definitely have a "my freedoms" kind of thing going on all the time, but I don't. Why are they getting into the TSA? Like that just seems like a really weird direction to go for an example.
I'm waiting
of their
to
political
see
objective.
if they're going to come down on the side of Team Tony or Cap. I think they're on. I think I'm going to be disappointed that, like me, they are on Cap's team.
They're not so far. They're not. I think that their team, fuck freedom, protect everybody. Whoever our almighty is gets to make decisions for us. And we should submit to that kind of authority if they know. I'll
bet you a coffee table.
Okay,
I'll take that.
See what happens.
Do I just continue to not have a coffee table?
I'm thankful people aren't blowing up as many planes. I mean, that kind of thing.
And there's a balance in there for sure.
Of course.
Right? Yeah.
And so you can understand that ideology, and people had concerns like with the Patriot Act and there's all sorts of debates about that we don't really need to get into. Just understand that the movie is taking a position and throwing it in there on the lips of a character that a lot of people love.
To be fair, both movies were taking both positions.
Yes. That was what I was going to say. I'm like,
go ahead, Arden.
No, the whole point is that they're not trying to saddle the movie or like the company with a position. They're trying to be like, different people have different values about like how to best handle freedom and protecting each other, and like which one of those, there's merits to both sides. Like they're not actually taking a position, and it's weird to me that that's how they view that, when like the whole point of civil war was that there was disparities in the positions that they hold. Like,
yeah, there was two people that you loved and respected, and you could understand the justifications for them holding entirely different positions,
right?
Even though they had the same end goal, you could see how they would go different paths to do it. Back when Marvel actually wrote characters and you wanted to, and you cared about their motivations. Let's not get on our sidetrack again, but
it is they're so desperate to like point out like, they've got a political ideology they're pushing on you, that they're like,
it's not even about
forcing it in where where it's not happening. Like
they were both
probably good examples of it, but it's not here,
Right. Like they're both fully fleshed out characters, and you understand what their background is and what their motivations are. And you can see how they took a disparate path to wanting the same thing, but thinking they needed to do entirely different and conflicting things in order to achieve that goal, and how they were trying to find compromise and come together, even though they cared about each other. Like that was the point. I don't know what the fuck these guys are doing, but that was the point.
Tim also acknowledged that he thinks that Cap is the moral compass of the film. And now he's upset that the person against him is saying an opinion he doesn't like. Like, no, you should be happy that the person you called the moral compass stuck to his guns. Should be no villain in the film. It's weird.
Yeah.
They're still kind of down and out for quite a long time in this film, until it's not big. A big spoiler, a little spoiler. Ant-Man until Ant-Man shows up,
little or big,
and suddenly gives them hope. But before that, we're gonna actually. This is part of the once they have
and steals their sandwiches.
A little bit of hope. Thor, who's let himself go, he's the one who ends up killing Thanos earlier.
I think a lot of people were upset about that. Like
they're worried about the little spoiler, and then they're like, "He's the one that ends up killing Thanos."
Well, that was in the first 20 minutes. To be fair, that was in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
I'm not worried about spoilers because I've already seen it, but it's like, how are you going to comment on a little spoiler and then give away a big thing? Because I was sitting next to Owen when that happened, and Owen hadn't seen Infinity War. And so I was wanting to see how Endgame was going to hold up for someone who hadn't watched Infinity War.
Yeah.
And all of us, like the look on all of our faces when that happened was is significant. So
Yeah.
Also, they want to body shame Thor. That's in line with what I.
So far they've been so far in this thing they've talked about men going on a date and Thor's body, and they don't see the purpose in the first scene, but they felt like they really needed to include Thor's body.
Correct.
Yeah,
these guys are so gay.
They exactly. They needed a
no
reason
one wants
to
to
have
fuck Thor anymore.
Why did they stop making Thor fuckable? Oh.
Have you noticed that neither of us wanted to fuck Thor when he got fat? I don't even like this movie now. He used to be such a fucking stud.
Oh my god.
What does the Bible say about that, guys? It says you guys should make
Any of the movie for so many people, like then
For the ladies.
for the ladies, and then he's not right.
Yeah, so
not for me personally, not at all. But
not me.
I'm definitely straight.
I didn't even care. I didn't even notice he gained weight. I was just like, "Oh, does he look different?" Because basically, he looks the same to me.
I'm trying to connect with the ladies and how disappointed they're going to be.
He's just a guy, and I don't think that anybody should want to fuck guys, not even women, because guys are so unattractive to someone like me. But anyway, you don't want to make out, do you? No, okay, that's fine. I don't care.
Looks like he's from my state of Wisconsin, doing a lot of drinking and everything. And then he meets
Wisconsin
shaming people now?
Okay. That was weird. That's weird.
I know, right? Just
but also that the editor, like he disparaged Wisconsin. I better put in some backups facts about Wisconsin.
They like cheese there.
It's fine to say that everyone who comes out as gay gets called by the president. We don't need to fact check that. But if you call Wisconsin people fat, we better put up a thing.
Going through these veins with cheese whiz or something like that.
Cheddar whizzes!
Is that Pauly Shore's voice?
Sounds
like Pauly Shore's voice.
It was Pauly Shore, absolutely.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so he meets his mom in Asgard.
Yeah.
And so here's the scene.
Everyone fails at who they're supposed to be, Thor. The measure of a person, of a hero, is how well they succeed at being who they are.
So it's a really nice moment between a son and mother, that family relationship. It's good to see that strong relationship there. And by the way, Chris Hemsworth was the perfect choice to play Thor.
He does a great job.
He's great in that film and in the Thor movies.
He was great.
Really, I can't imagine another person playing that role. But the thing that she said, the measure of the person a hero is how well they succeed at being who they are. So
you probably take that a couple of different ways.
Yeah. So one way that you've talked about it is.
Well, I mean, you see in so many
It's gonna be
movies
anti-gay, right?
This
is gonna be an anti-gay
Or
moment.
no,
Where, like,
who does God want you to be?
Okay, sure.
That's right. You don't get to be who you want to be. That's right. That'll be
especially kind of Disney movies, but in so many movies, you need to be just your best self and just follow your heart and do what you think is right. Be who you think you need to be, and it's still in that same vein of thinking of you can define reality, what is good for you, what is true for you, pursue that, and just do that, and you be you, right? But biblically, that doesn't really work, rightly understood, because there is truth and there is falsehood, there is right and there is wrong. There is a way that is good to live according to godliness, and there's a way.
It might. They can steer anything into the trans train. Yeah.
Way that is not godly, and so you can't define reality for yourself, and it'd be necessarily right or good. And so you could take that quote that way. By the way, I love that clip. I love just as far as the emotional engagement between the two characters, between the son and the mother. And it's so pivotal for his character at that point. It's so needed. And I love seeing that relationship
I want to see where you're going.
presented in a positive light. But you could interpret her words a bit differently.
Yeah, if you look closely at what she's saying, you can't be somebody that you're not.
Right.
You can only be who you are, and the best version of that is to live out the way you're supposed to live. Now, he's failed, but get back on that horse and go, get back up. And so in one way, it kind of contradicts this idea that you can be whatever you want. She's saying you can only be you, but be the best version of you. So go out and do your very best no matter what, even though you failed, even though you're down. Get back up there.
What point is he making?
I'm sorry. It may well be just one of those
I'm
Christian...
like on the edge of my seat waiting for the fucking point.
It might just be one of those pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
I don't get it. I don't even understand what they're taking issue with.
And go.
And from a biblical perspective, we would say, you know what? God has made every single human being in his image. He's made every one of us unique, different gifts, different abilities, and we are to do what he's called us to do to the best of our ability and trust him with the results of it. And we will all be limited to one degree or another, different strengths and weaknesses, different characteristics, and that's okay, right? But we are to do what he's made us to do to the best of our ability and trust him with all that. And that makes sense in the biblical worldview. And so if he's made you a male, he made you a male on purpose.
There it is.
Female.
There it is.
It took a long
that was
way.
such
There
a long
it
road
is.
to get to we're transphobes. God, I didn't have to listen to all that shit. Just say it up front. Say it immediately.
Oh my
Holy
God.
fuck. I'm sorry, Arden, you were right. I thought it was going to be like God make...
I mean, be who you are, right? And since they think this is like a leftist, like sort of politically woke agenda sort of movie, it makes sense that when they hear be who you are from that lens, that's immediately where they're going to take it, rather than like what, they put a God-colored paint on it, but it was basically the same message of like, hey, everyone's different, just kind of like be you and do you the best you can. Like, they couldn't just leave it there. They had to add in but have you heard it the woke way?
Oh, man.
You're fucking wrong.
So we are here tonight helping to raise money for Team Shannon Q for the MS Walk. And thank you for everyone who has donated so far. And instead of super chats, we are hoping that you will jump in the description of either Shannon Q's video or my video and find the link there. And since our last one, we've had Melody Ford. Melody, regular viewer of the channel. Thank you, Melody, for your support. I support you. In fact, you just echoed my sentiments exactly. Thank you, Melody, for the $25 donation. We appreciate that. Oh, are we ready to go back to these guys?
Let's do it.
I'm mad now, though, because like that was the most meandering. No, pause for a second, because that was like the most meandering bullshit. That's the longest we've sat and listened to them because they couldn't get to the goddamn point. I wonder why that is. Do you think it's because they needed to like do a little song and dance for a longer period of time to get around the fact that be the best version of yourself is just like a normal, healthy thing to say to a person?
Both of them went out of their way. Like, they had to go out of their way to say, "Oh, we love the emotion of this scene." If it made you feel if it made you feel warm, that's okay because we felt warm too. But there's something hidden below that surface of feeling good and warm with this mother-son love.
Yeah, they can't just let it be what it is, which is just like a warm mother-son moment in a fictional movie. They have to reinforce that there's something nefarious going on in the subtext somewhere.
Or that if you really, this I think is the more nefarious version, is that if you really believe and resonate with hearing the message, the only thing that I care about is that you are the best version of yourself. That's the only thing anybody can do, is be the best version of yourself. And what that means for you is that you're going to be queer, or you're going to be trans, or you're going to be an atheist, or you're going to be whatever thing they don't approve of that is innocuous in reality. Then they have to find a way to make that unacceptable.
Why couldn't be the best version of yourself? Just be like Jesus. They didn't see it that way.
Good point.
And that's more biblical. Absolutely. We're all supposed to be striving towards that center point. They're all aiming for the same goal there.
How the hell did I end up with a more biblically accurate position than these two nitwits?
Exactly.
Maybe they've got an agenda beyond Jesus.
Yeah, it's almost
Maybe.
like
Dun, dun, dun.
capitalism and their streaming service get money from people.
I'm not even
feeling
sure what part of
comfortable
the
in their
movie we're in.
bigotry and their bullshit.
We're right now at on Asgard.
Right, where they're going back in time to get all the Infinity Stones, right?
No,
Yeah.
I want to see if they're going to go off on Thor for threatening to rip off that guy's arms and shove him up his butt. Listen here,
He's
noob
provided
master.
for you and how he's made you, different personalities, introvert, extrovert, all these different things, that he has made you with love and care and with purpose.
Yeah, so the next few clips are actually going to be between two characters that we haven't talked about yet, and that is Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Yep. Lots of stuff between
And,
us.
yeah, they're best friends really throughout the film. You see them becoming very good friends, and so in this first scene, the movie starts actually with Hawkeye playing with his family. And the snap, he's not there at that battle, and the snap happens, and he turns around, and suddenly his family's
His whole family's gone in the
They're
snap.
just like disappeared into ashes.
So his life has disappeared.
Yeah, so
basically.
his life is wrecked, and he actually becomes an assassin. Here he is, a guy who's the best archery guy in the world, and he becomes an assassin. Not really the best way to be.
Archer is so difficult to
archery guy.
Time.
Yeah, murderous assassin. Like he is all out.
Right now, once aim.
Except, Paul, you're muted.
Can you guys see that underneath the?
Yeah.
For my dog, yeah. As opposed to the non.
See,
so now fact check guys making jokes.
Right.
But the fact check guy's wrong too, because when Hawkeye becomes Ronin, he's going after the worst of the worst, the people who should have already had a death penalty under anything else. He's not an assassin running around as a hired gun taking people out. He is desperately taking all the things in the world that are still fucked up. How did these people survive while my family went away? None of you are going to continue to exist. Fuck this world. That's where Hawkeye's at. That's not a murderous assassin. That's a guy who has got the hyper vigilant sense of I am the bringer of true justice, getting revenge for what was done to all the good people who were made to go away. These guys don't even understand the characters.
I mean, arguably still murderous because he is still just out here killing people. But
Right, but not for money is the important part.
Yeah,
Not getting paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is getting paid. Who knows? But
He eats
you know,
chips.
he's killing the bad guys.
Flights to Japan aren't cheap, so
Man showed up, and they had this little bit of a plan, this little bit of a hope. Black Widow tracks down Hawkeye, and he's just finished assassinating somebody, and here's what we see.
Don't give me hope.
I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner.
Don't give me hope.
Yeah.
Why would somebody?
to be fair to them, this is one of those things. They played like 5 minutes, and I had to just, trim it down to that. So
I can understand that though.
Isn't that what we?
Like, can't you understand that? Like, if you've been in like the dregs, like the absolute most desperate state for so long, and you see somebody that you care about all of a sudden, like giving you, a lifeline.
What we're getting ready to see. Yeah,
Right.
what we're getting ready to see from these guys are people who are only willing to look at hope through a particular lens, because the hope that they're advocating for could never possibly be a false hope that results in disappointment, even though the reality is that's exactly what religions, including theirs, have been peddling forever. But they're still selling this, that the hope from Jesus will never fail, which is a fucking lie.
Oh, fuck them.
But they want to, why would somebody say that they don't give me hope? It's because they know that it might be a false hope. This is where, from a biblical worldview, we need to be relying on the one hope that can never be a false. I need to go take a shower for doing their job for them.
Let's all pray together for my MS to be cured.
Yes.
However many hundreds of people are watching this.
Yep.
Let's all
460
pray
right now.
together.
Yep.
For my MS to be cured. What a miracle that would be, because it would convince me that if it was absolutely cute, if I woke up tomorrow and I no longer had MS symptoms and I had a clear MRI, Wow, what a coup that would be. That would be one of those miracles you assholes talk about all the time, especially since I'm a public atheist. So God should want someone like me, especially, to be cured of my MS. So let's all pray together for my MS to be cured. Dear God, please cure my multiple sclerosis so that I don't have to worry anymore about waking up in the morning and being exhausted and having involuntary muscle spasms and being in pain and having like mental fog and not being able to do the things that I always want to do, or having to struggle to do the things that I want to do. Amen. I hope you please cure my MS, and I hope you join everybody else on this stream in helping me cure my MS too, especially the Christians who should absolutely want to, because I'm doing this in earnest. Because if anybody wants this prayer to come, it would be me, because I actually have the disease. Amen.
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 So let's see what happens. My guess is fucking nothing. Same with anybody else who's prayed like I have for something like that to happen.
Even if it happened, would it be particularly remarkable when there's still like kids with cancer out there?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's 100% right. But like, it's absolutely infuriating to me. Like, this shit infuriates me the most. Like the miracle claims and the hope claims, and they're like, well, let's give you false hope.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you just have false hope? Shouldn't you just have hope in something that you can't rely on fucking at all? Isn't that better than none at all? No, it's not. No, I'm sorry. I'm a pragmatist. And focusing on things that I can do, like raising money for like somebody who's going to do research and help people who have the disease that are invalid. Like, that's something I can do. Or I could sit around on my ass and like fold my hands and say words to an empty room. Like, I wish more people would like if less people prayed and more people actually did some shit, we would be far less farther behind than we are right now. And maybe I wouldn't have to worry about whether or not I can wake up in the morning one day and walk. But okay, go ahead, pray. Thanks.
Speaking of what we can do, we've had $100 come in. We've had another $50 from Melody Ford on your team, Shannon. Shannon,
Yay!
for all the giggles you have provided me, I truly support you.
Sorry, I wasn't funny just now. I was angry.
Well, some people,
I'll be funny again in a sec. I'm sorry.
Some people really like it when you're angry and think that's great. So, and another $50 to my team from an anonymous donor. Thank you so much. You know who you are, and we appreciate that you don't feel like the left hand needs to know what the right hand is doing. So we appreciate you very much. Thank you, everyone, for demonstrating.
Right? But why wouldn't he?
Sorry, I didn't mean to start that one. Demonstrating how great our community can be.
Well, because he's afraid, I would assume that's going to be a false hope, that he'll get his hopes up and he'll think there'll be some sort of healing, some sort of bringing back to the family, something to make things better. He'll get, he'll build up some positive thinking along those lines, and it'll be crushed. Mm-hmm. And then that'll break him even more than is already broken. And one of the reasons I love that clip is not only the friendship that you see there between those two, but also it really shows, I mean, this guy, as you just said, if you watch the whole movie, he just took down a bunch of bad guys. He's a strong character. It's pretty amazing what he can do there, but yet he's also broken and vulnerable, right? And you see the pain of him losing his family right there, and the fear he has of losing them again in an emotional sense if he has hope and is dashed again. And so I think for a lot of people, and this is a movie, of course, but people in real life can be afraid of hope because they've been broken by life in different circumstances.
Right.
I hate that. People aren't afraid of hope. People are skeptical of false hope. The reason that when she came to him, he was willing to have hope is because he trusted her and he knew that she wouldn't come to him unless there was something to hold on to. And they're advocating that people look to something that has no promises at all.
Yeah.
And saying that they're equivalent. And they can fuck themselves for that. For sure, they can fuck themselves for that. As somebody who consistently gets people sending me so-and-so got cured, their MS got cured, maybe you should pray more. Oh, I'm sorry, that one person's MS got cured in 1970, and it's a tenuous claim, and you believe it, so the rest of us can go fuck ourselves? Like, do you think no one else that had this disease ever prayed?
Yeah.
Like, what's so fucking special about her? Like, what are you really saying? You're saying that of all the people that have ever had multiple sclerosis or cancer or fucking cerebral palsy or like insert disease here in their entire lives, that every once in a while God spins a fucking wheel and goes, that bitch. And I should be like, please put me on the wheel. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
God's wheel can go to hell because he doesn't even need a wheel, because what he could do is go, no, that disease doesn't exist anymore because he fucking invented it. If you believe in him, diseases don't exist in a vacuum.
I like the fact that they're also really impressed with what is clearly the weakest of the Avengers.
Right.
I mean, he's the Aquaman of this group.
Oh, I like him though.
I like him fine, and he's the one that took out Scarlet Witch. But
he's Archer guy.
They got to give They got to give Archer guy Bowman something to do.
He is the world's best Archer guy.
He has that little plaque somewhere for sure.
They really know this film franchise.
That's right.
Impressive. And you can tell because he's wearing a Nintendo shirt and there's a Lord of the Rings poster behind him. And I saw a Ninja Turtle somewhere on set and there's popcorn there. So we know that they're serious about it.
Steeped in the lore, as they say. Absolutely.
I'll do a Marvel trivia quiz against these suckers any day of the week.
All day.
You might even do okay in a Genesis quiz against these guys.
I think you would actually.
Except I don't think there's answers there.
Valid.
I think of this is in a non-serious way, right. But I grew up in Green Bay. The Packers. They're usually pretty good. And, they have more championships than any team.
Yeah.
One of our rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, they've never won the big game, and their fans are kind of like that. Where it's like, they always expect.
Are you cracking on Vikings fans?
I am, and I have to do it because of what you did to me one time.
Because it's manly to do that.
I love that.
Is this lending clarity in any way to anything?
No, they have inside jokes because they're besties.
I see. Something that was very clearly explained. We're going to give a worse analogy.
There's no way that they're in love with each other. They just have.
No, that's right.
They're both in love with Thor, obviously, but not each other.
If one of them changes the way his legs cross so their feet are pointed at each other, that's a proposition.
Because you called me a Vikings fan when I didn't even know it, but anyway.
That was great.
But no, they're always expecting a letdown, and even Bengals fans are kind of like, "Oh, I knew that was going to happen," and there's that hope they get, and then it hurts because they've.
Actually, as an Oilers fan, I'm relating to this right now. I know that doesn't mean anything to most people, but
it does to me.
They bought into that hope for a little
excited,
bit.
You think, oh yeah, this could be it, and then it's dashed again.
And then it gets taken away. And this, in a serious way, that's what happened to Hawkeye, and he doesn't want to have to go through that pain again. In fact, he's allowing his anger and his bitterness to fuel him, to give him some purpose right now, even though he knows it's not right.
Right.
It's driving his life at that point, and he doesn't want to have to face that hurt again. Now, thankfully, in the storyline, he does.
Yeah.
And we're going to see another character. We're going to see these two again, and this time they're chasing down one of the Infinity Stones. But in order to get that Infinity Stone, one of them, because they're best friends.
It's called the Soul Stone.
Yeah. One of them has to give their life for the other.
He just rolled his eyes at Soul Stone. Like, I can't wait for the biblical. How should we look at things like the Infinity Stones from a biblical worldview? How many Infinity Stones did Jesus have?
He would have had to have all of them.
He was all of them.
Unless
and the gauntlet at the same time.
Unless
in the beginning was the word.
Because then they're just in drawers. They don't even matter.
That's right.
In the beginning was the word, and the word was inevitable.
That's funny.
They have to give up what they love the most, and these are best friends.
Actually, would we say that Infinity Stones are basically God's Horcruxes? Is that?
Although, I don't want to give spoilers for other things, but later on, we might see some Infinity Stones just laying around in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's
Shannon was saying.
That's literally what I
So basically arguing over who should die, and he's saying, well, because I've done these horrible things, it should be me. And so let's take a look.
Natasha, you know what I've done. You know what I've become.
I don't judge people on their worst mistakes.
Because she's like Jesus.
Yeah, God does. God absolutely judges you on your worst.
Even your trivial mistakes, in fact.
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
You didn't.
So it's interesting because as people who have sinned against our holy creator,
Right.
we are accountable to God and we deserve his judgment, but he offers forgiveness through Jesus Christ, who, by the way, is our ultimate hope. Going back to that
And real
last
hope.
clip,
That's
the
right.
real hope that we can have that is never going to let you down. People will inevitably let you down because we make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're placing your faith in somebody else, somebody who's fallen, eventually you're probably going to be let down pretty severely. But Jesus will never do that. He's that ultimate hope. But God is...
Are we getting a sermon?
Oh, Matt's got his Jesus hat on.
Yep. I'm just repping the cred since I got there an hour before these guys.
I just don't understand what they mean by hope. Like,
Well,
They must
they
have a
like to conflate, right? They're conflating what the movie says would be hope with the hope of your being reunited with loved ones.
or they just want you to have a continuous renewal of hope, despite evidence that it's not warranted.
Yeah, their hope is a proper fictional carrot on a stick. It's always the same. It's just around the corner. Jesus is just coming back tomorrow. It's any day now.
Right.
You know, and even if it doesn't happen in your lifetime, we know it's going to happen. I literally had a debate, or I literally had a conversation with a Church of Christ preacher who put up a slide that said while we can't know that any individual prayer has been answered, we can know that prayers have been answered. And I was like, hang on, if you can't know it for any individual thing in the series, how did you determine that anything in the series has been answered? He's just like, faith. Cool.
You know what their hope is? Their hope is like attempting to climb the stairs in an Escher.
Yes.
That's what their hope is. It's it looks like it's feasible, but it's an eternally futile endeavor. Perception of feasibility without actual feasibility. It's like climbing the stairs in an Escher.
Or Sisyphus.
We have another donation. Thank you so much. We are here tonight supporting MS Walk, and we have Bumble Bray, long-time supporter of the channel. Have you tried asking Thor? Maybe Loki. Seems like something an Asgardian would be more willing to help with. The Bible guy is more prone to inflicting than curing.
Well, he's fat now and nobody wants to fuck him, so
I wouldn't say no.
Not disinterested. at least not those two. Those two are disinterested.
Tim and Brian
now.
are a little interested.
Even that's debatable.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that would give Fat Thor a jump.
I mean, I wouldn't not give it to
Fair.
I think all of us can have him as a pass.
Who place their faith in Christ, and he doesn't hold those sins against them. Their
No
worst
matter
crime.
what your sins are, no matter what your worst sins are, those can be forgiven by the blood
so much
of
of the
Christ.
Bible was written by people who murdered other people.
Who were
Moses
broken.
wrote 5 books, and he
That
murdered
whether
somebody.
you
Did
murder someone or whether you're gay, God will forgive you.
Did he just say so much of the Bible was written by people who
Yeah,
murdered other
that's
people?
one for the poster. So much
Like,
of the
without
Bible was
And yet
the back
it's
cover.
true.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that he was willing to say that out loud, because usually they go into a dissonant state and try to like obfuscate that, but he just like flat out said like, yeah, most of the people who wrote the Bible were totes fucking murderers, even though that's a whole ass commandment. That's okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we're here now. That's good.
David stole Bathsheba's wife, or stole Bathsheba from Uriah, and had him murdered. And then in Paul, he condemned innocent people to death and was guilty of killing Christians. And they wrote a huge section of the Bible. God can forgive those. But imagine always being remembered for your worst mistakes. That's kind of what we see in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the characters, a lot of our heroes of the faith, the Bible's not afraid to point out their big flaw.
Which is a great demonstration of the authenticity of the Bible. It's not trying to hide the flaws of those people, because the Bible's not written by people. Ultimately, it's written by God. And ultimately, the Bible's not about any one person or people. It's about God and what he's doing.
You're not saying that God wrote the Bible. When you say
God used people to write it, right? So he inspired
the Holy Spirit is inspiring the text.
Inspired people to write it. But the information that's all on those pages of the Bible are the thoughts of the Word of God, right? And that's why it's called the literal Word of God, and we can trust all that it says. And it gives us, like you said, that hope. And what an amazing hope it is! Not only
the literal Word of God because they're using the word literal in the wrong way, just like all those other people are using it. And that's how it ended up in the Oxford English Dictionary as a correct usage of literal, where literal literally means figurative. I just hate the English language and what people have done to it. And yet I also love it because language is completely our plaything.
But hope for eternity, hope for healing,
which is what people long for.
Oh, absolutely. Hope for a restoration.
Yeah, people and apparently the Bible offers basically the hope that, well, when you die, things will be better. I think is the general.
You get a new body, and so that if you don't get healed while you're down here, if Shannon's MS is not miraculously cured because of the prayer we said, he'll get a new body. And unfortunately for Shannon, she'll get a new body in hell that will be tortured forever.
It's true. Yes, that's how convenient that body is working at peak perfection. Absolutely.
Full capacity.
So we're supposed to consider that our sufferings, we have just momentary sufferings, of course, right? Here, and if you believe a Christian, but yet we're supposed to also think that Jesus suffered something that was a sacrifice in some way. We're suffering. Shannon will suffer for, somewhere between 40 and 100 years or so thereabouts. That's momentary suffering. But Jesus had a bad weekend. That's the sacrifice.
Yep.
The big sacrifice. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait,
I remember light momentary suffering. That's in the Bible, right? Light moments of.
I think that's almost word. I think that's literally what it says.
To things being made right, because every one of us, we know deep down in our heart of hearts, something's wrong. This world is broken. We're broken. Mm-hmm. What's the answer? Well, the only right answer is found in Christ. Yep. It gives us hope for eternity.
So, and this shows a great thing about friendship as well, because a true friend can forgive and still love that person, even because we do make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And you see this true friendship here. And now they try to battle for who's going to lay down their life.
They're fighting each other.
Yeah, they're fighting each other.
They're trying to die for each other.
Right. And so we're going to just show the very end of what happens there, and we'll get an example of this sacrificial love. So.
This whole thing, they're kind of wrong because they're like a true friend can forgive someone for their mistakes, but Hawkeye didn't wrong her. She's not forgiving him for what he did to her. She's forgiving him for running around and killing a bunch of bad guys. That puts her more in the position of Jesus, because I can't forgive Paul for wronging somebody else. I can only forgive Paul for what he's done to me. And Paul's never done anything for me, so it's easy. But the notion of, a friend can forgive a friend. Yeah, if Hawkeye had done something to her and she decided to forgive him in the end, that would be magnanimous. But her saying, I don't mind that you went and killed all those people. So what?
Can I say something for 1 second? And it's going to initially seem inappropriate. I had to run and quickly use the washroom. And while I was in the washroom, I got an email saying that we reached our $5,000 goal.
Yay! That's so awesome. Let's go.
Right.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy. I'm going to raise my goal again. I still have like 5 weeks. I can still raise more money.
Yeah.
That's so
Don't
exciting.
stop there, people. Keep going.
Thank you.
Squeeze you drive everything you've got.
I'm sad I was in the bathroom.
There's actually,
but also that's appropriate.
yeah, there's like
There we go.
$21 too much. So could somebody go in and reduce it by $21 because we don't want to be over the goal at all.
I can't take it back. Isn't that amazing?
That's so
wonderful.
Thank
you so much, everyone.
Thank you, all of you guys, for being here with me to do it. It's
this is like the easiest yes ever. Oh, this is so much fun. Matt and I were like, hang out with Paul and Shannon for a while and talk about Endgame. Yeah, that sounds like a good fun thing we would do anyway.
I think it was the fastest yes either of us have given to anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you. Like this is amazing. I'm like it's exceeded my expectations beyond. I was excited to hang out with you guys. Whatever happened. Whatever money we raised. It was great. Like, but this is amazing. Like, this is astounding. I didn't think I was going to get $1,000 when I first started to do this, and the fact that we're at over 5,000 now is, oh gosh! And I can't wait to stand up. I wonder where my team is. My team has to be still first. There's no way somebody could have surpassed me today. I need to keep in first place though, so that I can stand on stage and go, "Thank you to all the atheist community." And just watch people's faces. That was my favorite last.
Jake gave 75 to put us over the top. Thank you, wow. Jake. I cannot believe they compared a sports team losing the game to Hawkeye losing his family. Right? That's messed up.
True.
#
coffee tables get in the way more than they help. All right, so
I'll allow it because you put us over the edge. I will allow it. Just this once. You get grace.
There was an anonymous donation of $10. Thank you. Another anonymous for 75 with a message.
Oh, wow.
Hey all. Normally I would be Team Paul, but my mom has MS, so I gotta go with Team Shannon tonight.
I hope your mom's okay. I hope mom's doing okay.
Thank you, everyone. This has been great.
Thank you. This is awesome. All right, I didn't mean to distract from the fun stuff.
No,
but
we're good.
No. Please no.
Bummer.
That's so funny.
Oh my goodness, guys.
This is like one of the most painful moments in like a Marvel movie ever.
Bummer.
Like these guys.
Funny. Death is hilarious. Oh,
not funny all the same time. Yeah,
it's moving, and imagine being a Hawkeye.
That is like that's a terrible mistake. I don't know if I can forget that. It's like your worst mistake. No. But you know what you do see though in that clip truly is you see sacrifice, and again we talk about it resonates because someone's laying down their life. It is being sacrificial. It is unselfish.
And here's Hawkeye losing his best friend after he's already lost his family, but it's for the hope that all of that can be reached.
Comparing Scarlet Widow to Jesus here.
Sounds a little bit like it.
That sounds like what they're doing.
I think you mean Black Widow.
Oh,
Black
yeah.
Widow, sorry. They're comparing Scarlett Johansson. It got in my head and mixed up.
Yeah.
but she was an assassin.
She was a paid assassin. She definitely
was an actual assassin. Right.
Red Room graduate.
Oh my god.
Okay.
If this was Frank Turek, he would be trying to explain how the origin of sacrifice being a thing that humans consider to be honorable was Jesus. That no one thought that before Jesus existed, who would have even thought that sacrifice was noble?
Yeah, no, altruism. People were like, fuck altruism. Every man for themselves.
Wait, Turek has legitimately suggested that prior to Jesus, nobody?
Yeah, so he wrote a book, and I debated him on Unbelievable.
Oh, does Matt not know that he wrote a book? No, his son. Wasn't it his son that wrote a book?
Matt, he and his son, just like Frank.
About the Marvel and Star Wars universes.
Yep. And I debated him on Unbelievable, and that is his point, that altruism, that basically Christianity is the origin of stories celebrating people who sacrifice themselves.
Surely there are multiple examples
in the real
world from before that.
I have a book downstairs. that goes through countless well, I guess they're countable, so I shouldn't say countless, but yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Look that up. Unbelievable Apology of Frank Turek. It was a frustrating time.
Sword, because that's what they're attempting to do with these, is to get all these Infinity Stones when they did exist, travel through time and then get those things.
Put them back together. Yep.
And then when that happens, well, because they went back to the past, Thanos was alive back then, was able to see that it was going to happen. So now he's back in the picture.
Yeah.
And so that leads to...
What was the very minor spoiler that they were warning about earlier?
Thor killing Thanos, right?
Oh, right, yeah. But now they're literally giving up the ending of the movie.
Yeah,
they've stopped. I guess if you haven't seen the movie, you're fine.
The one giant, huge, epic battle.
Mega battle.
That's like the last hour.
The culmination of all 23 movies.
Yeah, it's like the last hour of the film is just this battle. So if you like action,
pause a second, Paul. I apologize. I don't want to derail on this, but did you bring up Joseph Campbell and the
we talked
hero
at
of
length about
1,000
heroes.
favors?
Yeah, hero's journey, absolutely. Yeah.
And
we talked at length.
Turek doesn't acknowledge that those stories come before Jesus. Some of them.
So the conceit, his notion is that those stories all only had part of the picture, and that Jesus was the culminant. Because and this is, I introduced the word Mary Sue to him because this was new to him.
After he wrote a book about to be okay.
So because all those other heroes, they were flawed, you see, Matt. And so because the reason they were flawed is because no one could even imagine a perfect being. And so Superman, Kal-El, can be, this more of an imagined perfect being, because now we have a model of a perfect being. But all the heroes before Jesus, they were flawed. And I was like, is that not just a literary device where we can relate? We can't really relate to people who don't have flaws, and we have a term for that. It's called Mary Sue, where that's just a sign of poor writing. Well, he stared at me blankly because that was,
I need you to do me a favor, and that is the next time you do anything about Frank Turek, under Frank's name, you should put author and speaker.
I am going to do that.
Amazing.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
I love a good callback. That is a good callback. Anybody who wasn't here earlier in the stream, that's a you problem. You're gonna have to rewind.
There's not a whole lot of movies that do more.
So there's 7 minutes left. I don't know do we want to try and plow through the 7 minutes that are left?
Sure.
Yeah, we can do it.
We're all good still?
I'm good.
We'll try to be good and not comment.
I can't believe in a 3-hour movie we've only gotten through where Black Widow sacrifices and there's only 7 minutes of their review left. I thought there'd be like another 40 minutes of their review.
No, because they're picking and choosing. Like, let's take inventory of the actual points in the movie. There was a gay person went on a date.
Okay.
Important.
Thor had a bad body.
Yeah.
Thor
isn't as handsome as I want him to be.
Hawkeye doesn't want
Man
hope.
And Captain America disagreed on whether or not a shield should be around the world.
That's right.
Disagreed on fascism. Scarlet I keep wanting to call her Scarlet
Black Widow.
Scarlett Johansson. Black Widow went to go get Ronan while he was being an assassin and said the word hope at one point.
Mrs. Colin Jost.
Yes.
Yeah, Mrs. Colin Jost.
Yes, because we identify women by their husbands. And also she sacrificed herself. That's it. I think it's those 5 points.
But now we jumped ahead.
That's all I remembered from Endgame. I can now. I believe there's
right? Those are the high notes. That's what everybody.
I don't remember anything about Scarlet Witch peeling the armor off of Thanos or
nope.
They've literally yada over America's ass. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that. We blew right past it.
Did they mention it at all?
No.
And
nope.
Time travel.
The only time travel mission they mentioned was the Soul Stone one. They didn't mention any others.
But the Soul Stone wasn't a time travel mission. It was to get the stone so that they could do the time travel.
So
they were still in the
let's talk about that. So was it because they had to go? They also went through the quantum realm.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because Thanos already had the Soul Stone because he sacrificed Gamora.
Right, and they had to.
You're right.
Yeah, they had to jump back before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
means that Gamora would have never gotten a time stone. So.
Right, and that's why Gamora is now. They have this Gamora is alive now.
Yeah, because there's an alternate. Yeah.
2019
Gamora. Time's wibbly wobbly.
By the way, that was one of the best things about Guardians 3 was that Gamora didn't fall into his arms.
Oh, I love that. I love that she had her own trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it wasn't just, oh, you loved a different version of me. I guess I'll love you back.
I wish these guys didn't exist. We could spend 2 hours, just the four of us, I think, just talking about Marvel.
Oh, for sure. It'd be way more interesting.
If Gamora came up to me and said, hey, you loved a different version of me, would you love me too? I'd probably just say yes. I mean, I realize that I've flipped it from Star-Lord to Gamora, but I'd probably just say yes.
Well, I mean, he loved all versions of her.
How can you not
love him back?
If Captain Kirk can kiss green women, so can I.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, what?
Arden has a green shirt.
I'm gonna say
you guys figure that out. You guys can figure that out after the show's done.
Arden's definitionally the hottest bitch around based on that fucking Black Widow. If you don't get that bob and dye your hair red, I don't even. Did you see that?
I have a sibling with red hair, so I already know it works. We're both similarly pale.
Bitch.
They're more pale than I am, though.
You are doing a disservice to your face and all of us if you don't fucking get that bob.
Apparently.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit.
That's what I said.
Right? I looked at mine and I was like, nah, whatever, that's fine. It's just like my hair, but curly. I looked at hers and I was like, holy fuck.
Somebody asked in a patron hangout the other day, kind of which Marvel character I would be and which one I would have Arden as. And I didn't do Black Widow because I made her Jean Grey. But
oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you're gonna give me like god level powers, like I'm not gonna say no to that. So.
I'm a rogue. I'm a team rogue all day, every day. Rogue was my favorite character in any comic, and they've destroyed her in every movie. Like if you only know Rogue from the movies, you don't know Rogue. And also it's funny because I'm Captain Marvel there and I'm the Carol Danvers version of Captain Marvel, which means that
which means you're not going to be mentioned in this whole thing.
which means I should be in a coma and part of my consciousness should be trapped inside Rogue, but whatever, that's fine.
And by the way,
my powers.
Irrelevant side note, because I know we've got like 7 minutes to get through, and I'm not going to go into any details, but X-Men 97 is single-handedly saving Disney Plus's Marvel stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
Yeah, it's been really good.
We are enjoying it here as well. Very much. And I didn't even watch the original series.
I didn't either.
The animation is a little off-putting to me. Like, I can't tell if like the characters, they seem like they're like 3D models that have like some
Shannon.
like 2D shadow texture. It's weird.
I will rage quit my own script. None of you watched the original X-Men cartoon?
Correct.
Nope.
I'm the only person here who watched the original.
You're the only person in the world that watched it.
You're so full of shit. You're it's fucking.
But Shannon's
I'm mad. There's a reason it was fucking rebooted, and it's not because no one fucking watched it.
Shannon's real angry right now.
You stop. And
I
also,
live to make Shannon angry.
Shut up, because the only reason the MCU as it exists right now exists is because that cartoon emboldened so many people of my generation that loved it to make the original fucking X-Men movie. And if it wasn't for the original X-Men movie, there wouldn't have been a door open for the MCU that we're talking about right now.
There wouldn't even be a Kevin Feige.
Nope.
I know. He worked on that.
Nope. Our fandom fucking made that happen, and they did us fucking dirty with the X-Men movie.
Yes.
They did us fucking dirty with the X-Men movie.
I don't know. I really like the Storm line about what happens when you electrocute a frog.
Oh my God.
I swear to God.
That's
I will
so
fly
bad.
to Austin just to fucking punch you in the face, Arden.
I thought it was really moving.
You know that's bullshit.
I'm
so
not
bad.
going to let you punch her, but I will agree with the sentiment because Holly Berry's delivery of a great line from Joss Whedon completely fucked up that character and took her from a god to garbage.
Oh my God.
All right.
Oh.
My cheeks hurt from laughing.
I might like a little
So,
Marvel
but Thanos
stuff.
defeats this initial onslaught by some of the original Avengers, and then he starts giving this monologue.
He likes the monologue.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing. I can't believe it.
Or is it right before the
wait,
monologue?
wait. Did these two dipshits
Yep.
just skip over everything about Cap getting Mjolnir in a fight and skip right to Thanos' monologue?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that we were going to talk about the movie?
So
a lot of the movie.
Actually, I am going to. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Thanos monologues before Mjolnir gets into his hand.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So maybe they didn't skip it. But he says that he defeats the first wave of these Avengers, but he hasn't done that at the point of this.
He just blows up the building. All he's done is blow up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because literally no one perishes in that.
The only defeat that is that simple is when Carol defeats his ship.
Right.
And Hulk is already snapped at that point.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
All right.
So there is no defeat.
Before this initial fight, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, before that.
Yeah, let's take a look at what he says.
And as long as there are those that remember what was, there will always be those that are unable to accept what can be. They will resist.
Yep, we're all kinds of stubborn.
So
And
you don't
action.
And lots of it, right? So you don't want to.
Doesn't he mean and cut?
I think he means the blah 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 talky stuff's over now. I think that's I don't know.
I don't know what the point is.
Reform what's already there. That's not going to work. You got to tear down and rebuild.
Right, and you can only do that if the people don't remember what was. If you
Right.
destroy that history,
Got to.
then you're able to do that.
So Thanos is like God in just before the flood.
Exactly.
Right.
Except that God left 8 people alive to remember it. And what did they do? Right off the bat, they fuck it all up again.
That may be what he's getting at. That may be, because we left Noah's family alive, and man, they just kept sinning. Plus, some Nephilim survived in a cave somewhere.
I think the really disappointing thing for them is we can't do the experiment that would prove this true, which is let's wipe out everybody that exists, start over, and see if they make up the same gods and the same stories.
Oh. I'm glad we can't do that experiment, but
Me too.
also like as a human, I'm glad we can't do that experiment. But also, part of me is like, oh fuck, I wish we could just do it to prove that
Kinda wanna
that's
know.
never gonna happen. As much as I dislike Ricky Gervais, I watched this show Hot Ones. I love Hot Wings myself, and I think it's interesting. And I was watching his episode today, and he was describing it like if you wiped out all of science, and I've heard this elsewhere too. I'm sure he didn't get it himself. If you wiped out all of science, eventually, if you gave humanity enough time, they would come back to understanding and finding out the same things again, because they're like a tangible reality that you can glean from interacting with the world if you have the right methodology. But if you wiped out all of religion simultaneously, you would maybe develop this like religion of some kind, but it wouldn't manifest in the same exact way, because it has to be manifested based on what people know currently and what they're going to like glean from like purveying what's around them. And I think that is like a really important point. It's not a hypothesis you could or would want to test.
Oh,
but
I want
it's one
to.
that implicitly, like, you know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We should probably do a Bayesian analysis to determine what the likelihood is if they come up with the same shit. Sorry, buddy.
Bonnie Spiegel, $75 says for the cure because MS sucks. Indeed
MS
it does.
sucks.
Frank for $34. The stream I never knew I needed. Well, we're pleased to you could join us. Thank you for the contribution.
How do the kids do that?
Nate writes, thank you for all you guys do. My best to you all. We will receive your best. Thank you so much. Those are the new ones that have come in since last week.
That's
Also,
awesome.
I feel like I might be wrong that we may have. Hold on.
What did we do? What did I do?
Oh no, I was
fault?
right. I was suddenly thought, do we actually have 17 minutes left? But no, I was right. We have 7 minutes left. Okay,
Cool.
So we're good. Because 17, I'm not up for.
No, I'll give them
speed,
7,
Then you're
assuming they
able
don't say
to-
something really ridiculous right away.
Do that to become what you could be. And so that's an idea that we see in our culture is tear down that past. But there's another way you could take that angle as well. One of the things we see in our culture is there are certain things in our past that have been unsavory, certain evil things that have happened in our past as a nation, and people want to continually dredge that up. And because they're doing it, we're never able to become what we could be.
Right.
And that's unfortunate. So there's some truth in what he's saying, but there's also an ideology that's being promoted there from the bad guy.
Well, and usually, I mean, typically a bad.
Are they talking about statues now?
I think, yeah, statues of like Confederate leaders or something. That's the impression I'm getting.
Just stop bringing it up. We're fine. Our past is fine. Just leave it alone.
I read that
But the answers
totally
are in
differently.
Genesis.
I read that as like, well, we're talking about
he-
God killing firstborns and stuff, and we
Yeah,
shouldn't
I might
dredge
be
up.
wrong. I was just it started to sound like it was, see.
But I should not
Idea is a good
underestimate
idea
their
twisted.
ability to.
Right. I mean, it has to be. And so you take something,
Be
twist it,
MAGA.
misapply it, and that's what's happening in that sort of scenario.
So Brian, why did this movie resonate with us? I mean, we've looked at several different things from here. There's so much more to this
my
whole
goodness.
series and everything. I'm not a huge fan of all of the different Marvel movies. I'm not
No
one of those
shit.
comic book guys.
What?
We're at the end, and he's asking, why did this movie resonate with us? I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, I can tell that. Arrow dude.
I know you like.
I like
those
some
things.
of them. Yeah, like Spider-Man growing up.
Yeah, and so I was never really in that. In fact, I only saw 2 of these in the theater. It was just the Guardians of the Galaxy. One because I saw the first one and somebody told me, Tim, you're gonna love it because the 80s music in there. And I went to see it and I was like, this is 70s music. Come on. But I thought it was kind of fun. And then I thought, well, the second one will have that same sort of fun. And it was dumb compared to them. But we saw them
He
once
didn't get it at all.
I saw the 2
The
Guardians
music
movies.
progresses with the care. Okay, all right.
He thought
Okay.
Guardians 2 was dumb.
Guardians 2
I
wasn't
think
my
that's
favorite. Did you not think it was? Did you like the ego storyline?
I
Or
didn't
how
think
they
it was the best.
manifested it.
I thought it was probably the weakest of the 3 Guardians movies.
Yeah. One of the better
But-
Marvel movies. I'll give you that.
It's still way up there. Like, I could probably off the top of my head name 10 Marvel movies that are way worse than Guardians 2. Starting with
15.
You could just start with the other 2s, like Iron Man 2, Thor 2. But
Winter Soldier was good though. Sorry, like the Captain
Winter Soldier,
America.
but they didn't put a 2 in there, even though it was.
Yeah, they didn't, but it was the second one though.
Yeah,
that might still be my favorite of all of them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
Really
figure out
You
what
like
mine
Winter
was.
Soldier better than Civil War?
Yes.
I don't know if I did.
I don't know how I
think
ended up
liked-
talking to you.
Now let's talk about the TV series. Are we? Do we still have to listen to
we
these
gotta,
assholes?
We have to do a whole nother show for that.
Because the answer is Daredevil,
but
even
this
though
movie
it's
does
technically
resonate
not in the universe,
for a
but
lot
it
of
is
reasons.
now.
But
It is now.
It is now. Yeah.
It's the best all around.
Let's see why
Let's
it
just
resonates
see
here
why
at
it
the end.
resonates.
That's right.
No. This has an effect, especially on guys, I think.
have a plan.
But women too.
Especially on guys.
Whoa.
What are you talking about?
We're gonna see why it resonates, and then he says this has an effect on guys.
Especially on guys. That's what I'm.
Okay, I have to see what this resonates and why it resonates, especially.
Well,
with guys.
Arden, let's shut the fuck up. This is for them, not for us.
Fair enough.
This is hope.
Yeah, the men are thinking here.
There's Thor. Thor.
They're still hung up on Thor's body.
Is that why it's resonating? Okay, great. That checks out. That's
He's in such bad shape.
5 years ago, we lost. This is the fight of our lives. And we're going to win. Whatever it takes. Good luck.
He's pretty good at that, right?
All right. Heard the man. Stroke those keys, Jolly Green.
He is good at that.
Track is engaged.
You promised to bring that back in one piece, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'll do my best.
As promises go, that was pretty lame.
So why does it resonate? Well, you get this heroic build up. You get this trauma. To me, it's almost like a Rocky training montage.
Oh yeah.
If you remember watching those.
Oh,
things,
absolutely.
Like, how many times did you want to go work out as soon as you saw that training montage? Okay, I gotta go watch. I'm not even gonna watch it in the movie. I gotta go work out because you're so fired up. And that's what that scene was. But you have people from different groups coming together for one cause,
purpose, fighting evil,
and it's their only chance.
Teamwork.
They gotta get it done.
Men love multiculturalism.
If anything, they absolutely
White Christian dudes, especially, are known
famously rely on other people instead of themselves.
And also, this is so fucking far out of order. They just they had like a Thanos monologue, which is at the end of the movie.
True, you're right. You're absolutely right because yes, this takes place.
They are time jumping here because this
before
happened
the Soulstone scene, obviously. Yeah,
30-40 minutes before that.
Because teamwork.
This is when they're getting on the pad to go get the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. But they're saying this resonates with men in particular because it's about teamwork fighting evil, but they're advocating for a system where there is no teamwork fighting evil. There's just a God who creates evil and will eventually take care of it himself. There's no teamwork here. Jesus doesn't need us for shit.
That sounds about right.
Cool. I don't know why it resonates.
We can or should do about it, except for be shitty to people who we don't like because reasons.
Men like pep talks, apparently, is what we want to get to.
Summary, yeah.
Men desperately need to be guided.
No, they don't.
And Captain America is the best guider.
Neither men nor women desperately need to be guided.
Quiet, Shannon. The men folk are talking.
I would love for you to come here and say that to my face.
I'll tell you what. You come here and I'll say it, and then after you punch me, you can help straighten up my house.
I might only because I want to, though, when I couldn't.
I know somebody's going to take that the wrong way. As if I
suggested
you
should just come here.
You need to watch the whole stream for that context. That's right.
Shannon volunteered to help us organize. I am not.
I'll go outside
Shannon
and mess
as a
some
new
shit
maid.
up, though. I'll whatever I don't think needs to be in your house is just going in the yard after this attitude.
We need that, please.
I need to be led.
Okay.
We have Mel's Square Hole for $75. Wow, thank you, Mel's Square Hole.
That is a deep cut.
That's a deep cut for my live channel.
That is someone who loves the
So much room for activities with no coffee tables, right? More dance. We couldn't do the dancing.
We do have dance parties in there. That is fair.
Yeah. $50 anonymous. Thank you so much. And a $5 anonymous. All.
Oh no.
Oh no. Wait, you and I are both still here.
How is that even possible?
Can the audience hear us, or are we hearing each other?
How is it possible that Paul and Shannon got disconnected from this stream thing?
You guys lost me, I bet.
We did.
There you go. You're back.
Yeah. Mine just went away. I don't know what was happening.
We were trying to figure out how it was possible for me and Arden to still be here when you and Shannon dropped.
Oh, interesting. And then Shannon, now we have two Shannons.
But the people in chat heard us, so it's all
Very
good.
good.
We covered for you. In
Yeah,
your
that's why. That's one thing I like about this streaming platform we're on. It keeps the stream open, so that's good.
Yeah, we're professionals. We covered that without a hitch. Nobody even noticed you were gone.
Perfect.
We'll have to scrub through and see what happened.
It's
But
it's
I
me
totally
and Arden
trust
being
you.
fucking confused.
We're just like, oh.
Where did everyone go?
Now what? Yeah, we got snapped out of existence right as I said. You know, Darren was
50% of us got snapped.
wanting to snap MS out of existence.
There you go.
That's one way to do it. Just get rid of all of us. I guess.
Skeptics and Scoundrels. Eric, thank you so much. Don't worry, Shannon. I watched X-Men back then too. This one's for you, Morph. I think part of what it is that Shannon, you are the only person in this group who is of the age that was watching cartoons at that point in history.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 42.
Yeah, and I'm 55.
Uh-huh.
I would have definitely been watching cartoons in '97, but I probably was watching Blue's Clues.
Oh, you were okay. So that maybe that is the thing. Like
Yeah,
I
think-
was a
right.
teenager, like young teenager.
Yeah,
right,
I
when
had
that
just
came on.
done 8 years in the Navy and was starting a career in software. And so the amount of time I spent watching the X-Men cartoon was minimal. But when the X-Men movies hit, I was all in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this is an age. It was an age thing, not a
That X-Men cartoon meant a lot of things to me. Like if you were, especially like if you were a queer kid or a kid that was a little bit different, like in any way, because that X-Men cartoon was basically about if you are on the outs of society, this is how society is going to treat you. But you really need to embrace who you are, because who you are, that's your superpower. It was
I want to go back and watch them
mind-blowing
now.
to me. Mind-blowing to me. It was so relatable in so many ways, on so many levels. And like that X-Men cartoon and Star Trek were like real serious moral compasses that made me think, that like they actually like proposed difficult moral problems to me and had my young mind kind of like work through them and like figure out like, so maybe sometimes there isn't a good guy and a bad guy. Maybe sometimes there are people that are trying to do a good thing and have bad motivations, and maybe there's nuance to things. Like those two things meant the world to me. And Rogue, I identified with. She was my everything. And I didn't find out until recently, like within the past 4 years, that the woman who was the voice actor for Rogue, she's actually Nova Scotian. And I found her, and we follow each other on Twitter now. And she is still doing Rogue's voice in the new series. And I want to meet her. She sometimes goes to HalCon, and I want to go and meet her so desperately, because that character, like a character that is the most powerful person in the world, but can't touch or be intimate with anybody that she cares about. Like having that fear that if she gets close to anybody that she might hurt them, and she can't hurt them. She still wants to protect them, but be close to it.
Except they're taking that away now with Magneto.
No, I totally, I mean, I had other shows that were like that for me. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I feel like was that for me. It was a show where I was old enough to like get the complexity of the ideas and really connect with them on like a deep emotional level. So I get where you're like, why it was so big for you.
Yeah, it's huge. You're making me want to watch Avatar. My kid does. My kid watches Avatar. Holy shit!
Whoa!
We are over. Congratulations! But we got 6 minutes left in the show, so we're gonna see how high we can get. Maybe Matt might. We'll see.
I'm gonna get high after the show, but you can punish me with these two guys some more.
Of course, the way these movies are, they throw in a little bit of humor as well. So it's getting your spirits built up, and you're getting the children, then the humor as well.
It's well written.
Yeah,
it's well done.
It is well done. And then at the end of the movie, during this final conflict with Thanos, so we saw the monologue a little bit ago.
Right.
The three heroes there, Iron Man and Thor and Captain America, are beaten. They're not dead, but
Pretty
they're beaten
much.
down. Captain America's shield's in tatters. He's in tatters. And it's just him against Thanos and this entire army. And we're going to start a little bit of that clip, and then we're going to jump ahead and
The
see what
culmination of
happens.
it.
And that's why these movies resonate. You'll see.
Please tell me they're going to go off a little bit on how there's a really tacky scene with all the women.
They might.
Probably. I'm hoping they don't notice it. Because
no
I'm not in
chance.
the mood for the misogyny.
Right.
It's him against that army. There's no chance. He couldn't even beat Thanos by himself.
So the courage to keep going.
Yeah. To
To
do
lay
what's
down your
right.
life,
Yep.
no matter what. I love that visual.
Yeah. One man against that whole army.
On your left.
On your left.
So you get this portal that opens, Doctor Strange opening these portals, and suddenly you get a whole bunch of portals, and you get all these people from all these different movies that they've been interacting with come together all at the same moment to help this battle. And let's get a little. We'll skip ahead to see some of that.
I feel dumber.
Cap's not
listening to
alone.
these
He's
guys
got.
Right.
Sorry, I missed that.
So it feels dumber.
I mean,
That's
I've
valid as
watched
fuck.
all of these, and I've watched this particular movie multiple times. I feel dumber having this person explain to me what's
That's
going
right,
on.
yeah.
The guy that's watched 2 Marvel movies.
Yep.
Cool.
I know
Good
they were
job,
worried-
Noah man.
They were worried about spoilers, but I feel like you could watch this entire review and have never watched either
For sure.
of the like Avengers like Endgame movies and really still have no fucking idea what actually
No,
is
yeah,
going
yeah.
on whatsoever.
The disappointing thing is that they shit on the early part that was about characters.
Yes.
And now
Yep.
we're at the culmination of 23 movies, and 25 buckets of awesome is getting ready to spill out on film, and they're almost done and don't have a clue what they're watching.
Mhm. When this happened
Unity.
in the cinema, like I literally, like my body had an involuntary reaction and I cried. Like I actually cried
Oh, totally. So
without being able to control it.
Coming together.
From different people groups, different alien groups, all everybody for one
different
common
people from
cause.
different galaxies all come together.
Good versus evil in a sense. And then you get another 20 minutes of action.
Pure out battle.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, as you watch that, the scale's so big, and of course, it's the culmination of all those.
Yeah, no, they're done, I guess.
we're just not going to go into detail about any of that.
We're not gonna...
Why show it then? What was the point?
There were these terrible scenes that were unnecessary, and then there's 20 minutes of action. But let me tell you about Jesus.
I know. Wow, these guys seem like they'd be
And
really
then
fun
as
to
you're
watch
watching
movies
that,
with.
you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. Like they're fighting for a bigger cause than just.
Their legs are still in unison though, so they're fine.
Oh, they're not matching each other yet, though. They've only
Just
been
their
apart and in the same direction.
Make
Not
them
fun.
touch.
Individual lives, even a bigger cause than their own planets or their own galaxy or solar systems. They're fighting for the universe in a real sense. And so I think that really speaks to us. It resonates because we understand there is something beyond ourselves. And we as human beings want to be involved in something that's bigger than ourselves.
And there is
And
a
there is
real
something- there is
battle
something. There's a
between
real battle.
real good, true good,
really
God, and evil.
There is.
The spiritual forces that Ephesians 6 talks about.
No, there's
There
not.
is
If God is all powerful and God wanted to eliminate evil, evil would just be gone. There's no such thing as a possible battle between an all powerful God and anything. There can be no battle between the all powerful and anything. There is no battle between good and evil. There's a conspiracy in your narrative between good and evil. That's what there is.
Amen.
this battle going on, this cosmic battle, and then we get to play a role in that. And those of us who have trusted in Christ, we're on the side that wins. We already know the end.
What role do you play
that's one of
in the battle between good and evil that can't possibly exist? I mean, I love my superhero movies. And yes, I think, you know, that one of the appeals is that you put yourself in the perspective of the characters, and maybe I could be the heroic one of these days. But there's cosplayers at every Comic-Con and Dragon Con, and good for you guys. Cosplay your ass off. These guys are basically admitting that Christianity is a really shitty version of superhero cosplay because they're in a battle between good and evil, except that their battle can't exist.
We all get to pretend to be a part of it.
It's wild because evil in their conception too is harming God, right? Like in their conception, is that what evil is?
Maybe?
It's the gap between what God wants you to do.
Like doing something that God disapproves of or that God doesn't like. I often wonder if any of them have like any conception of psychology though, because they're like, that's ascribing God negative emotional states, right? Like God would have to have a negative emotional state in order to feel as though it justified repercussions. Like he would have to be like, I am in a state of disequilibrium emotionally. And I would prefer to be in a state of full equilibrium emotionally. And if you're doing something that causes me disequilibrium, then that means that you get repercussions because ultimately you should be striving to have me at a state of emotional equilibrium. That's functionally what they're saying because they're ascribing God cognitive states. But what that means implicitly is that we are capable of putting God into a state of emotional disequilibrium, which means that we, like in our little nothing stupid speck lives that God created and instantiated and set forth and understands everything about, and in fact, like set in motion and knows how it's going to end, did that either because he's a masochist who put himself into a state of disequilibrium or he has no control over us and we're capable of putting him in a state of disequilibrium emotionally. And though that's qualitatively different, but both of them speak towards the fact that either we can have an impact on God or God is attempting to create a circumstance that allows the affect of the environment that he instantiated to create a negative state that he either like enjoys masochistically or sadistically. And that he doesn't exist in a perfect state. Like all of that would mean that he doesn't just exist innately in a perfect state. If you acknowledge what cognition is and what emotional states are.
I'm curious how God got to be the kind of person who's a sadist or a masochist. If like, does God have a family trauma?
Or he has no control. Those are the only options. He's either a sadist and he created a state of affairs that would put him in disequilibrium knowingly. He chose to do that because there would be no other option, and is punishing the agents that he created specifically knowing that was going to be the end result, or he's some sort of masochist and did it because he likes to be in that state of disequilibrium, which wouldn't justify the punishment. And the only other alternative would be that he has no control, which means that praying to him means nothing. Because if you recognize what cognitive emotional states are, like all of it seems as though is an anthropomorphization. Like we're anthropomorphizing like our cognitive states on something that we decided that we're made in the image of. And thus, since we're made in the image of this thing, it must be in some way like us. But if you don't understand cognition and don't think deeply about it, then it just seems like relationships are hard. And you just view it on that level without like really analyzing what it would mean if the person in the relationship not only had all the power, because you granted them the power, but definitionally had all the power, which is why I think it's like an abuse dynamic. Like it just breeds abuse dynamics because it's creating an environment where we see the best love that we are supposed to view as like the pinnacle of what love is definitionally either a sadistic relationship, a masochistic relationship, or a relationship that's abusive and out of control. And those are the only options.
I mean, that sounds about right too. With a lot of Christian media, I feel like you see kind of that extrapolated out too.
Yeah, it's super unhealthy. And I don't like it. But people don't look at it that way because they're more interested in the philosophy, I think, of like the hard material aspects of it. But that's the stuff that interests me. Those dynamics and how they impact people.
Anonymous gave us 1360 and says, my wife works with the top MS doc in Central Ohio and was super stoked to see you guys raising $bucks for this wonderful cause.
Yay.
Also, Spider-Man is the best, and that's an objective truth.
He was one of my favorites, for sure.
There's no hyphen in your Spider-Man, so this is actually, he means Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Like Norm Spider-Man. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Appreciate 666 from My Unfinished Journey. Hail Nero Caesar. And Shannon, don't let Paul find out that floors are level surfaces. Well,
he already knows. He's already acutely aware.
And they don't have to be.
It's true.
If you build your floor
not in our
correctly,
house.
if you build your floor correctly, it should all drain. It should all drain. It head towards one drain, so that when you spill, it goes right down the drain. You can build floors like that.
Yeah.
You could.
But they didn't know the end.
Director,
but they're still willing to lay down their lives.
That's
but
right.
if you've read scripture, you know the end. We know that God wins. And
what an amazing truth that as a Christian, you can be part of what God is doing to accomplish that eternal victory. All right. And we play a part in that. It's his work, but we're being involved in the process.
Right.
And he will use that for his glory and our eternal good.
How
That's
cute.
a glorious
They
thing.
think they're involved in God's process.
No, right? Hey, buddy, do you want to help me fix the car? Yeah, let's fix the car, Dad. Is it already written in the book that no matter whether you help me or not, I'm going to win? Yeah, it's going to win.
You are oh gosh, what's his name? Big Papa Pizza. That you were part of Doctor Strange's plan too. There, Big Papa Pizza in the alternate. Yes, you help, boys. Thank you so much. God's going to send you a thank you card for your help.
you're watching these movies again. You know, there are so many epic things in this film and some of the other ones. There are a lot of admirable qualities that are being displayed, but there's also these ideologies that are snuck in there, and you have to be really careful
because
with
the
those
characters aren't like the ones in the Bible. They're not one-dimensional.
Except Archer Man.
Yeah, you know.
World's best Archer Man. Thank you very much.
Bow Guy 23.
Him.
Hey, they just ripped off Arrow from the Arrowverse.
He was the world's #1 Archer guy. Thank you. God. It's like you don't even have an education.
Say be aware of what you're watching. Be aware of the bad ideas, the ideologies they're trying to teach you, and they're trying to smuggle into your brains, planting those seeds into the minds of your kids as well. So talk through that, understand that, but also I would say point out where, hey, there are some ideas that have a biblical root and that good things, self-sacrifice, laying down your life, courage, unity, fighting evil, hope. Those things are good, and they find their reality in Christ, and then use all that to talk about the bigger ideas, the true eternal reality that we have in Christ, and then share the good news with somebody. And so we love talking about this stuff. That's one of the main reasons why, and we encourage you here at Tilt Shift to keep watching what you watch.
Not
See
movies.
you guys.
I don't know if they conveyed a single coherent concept that I think they made a case for being actually biblical. Not one.
No, what they're saying is the good parts about this movie are also in the Bible. So if you liked this film, you might also like the Bible.
The OG
or my
film.
Noah fan fiction about the Bible.
That's right.
I think it's interesting that if you took all the money made by Endgame, as a matter of fact, we'll just take $2 billion away from the profits of Endgame, and Endgame still made $200 million more than Passion of the Christ.
Wow.
After you remove $2 billion of its $2.8 billion profit, it still beats Passion of the Christ because Passion of the Christ got $612 million.
In a very different cultural climate.
Which of the 23 Marvel movies made less money than Passion of the Christ?
Oh,
than less than 600. Well, just the newest one, which we probably don't want to talk about. No, well, no, the newest, the Marvels didn't make that much.
I'm sad about the Marvels. I really liked the Marvels. Ant-Man was ass. You can throw Ant-Man in the trash after that movie.
I don't know if I would go so far as to say I really liked the Marvels.
I really enjoyed it. I think it was really not because it was narratively good. They made a lot of mistakes, especially with their pacing, I think. But I don't know. I laughed. I had a really good time. The use of the song from Cats in the cat scene was like brilliant and so funny. I was like almost crying in laughter while I was watching. And I love Iman Vellani?
Claudia Rambo?
No. Miss Marvel.
Oh,
she was like the best part of the movie.
Yeah, the Canadian girl.
She is great.
Good Canadian kid. Yep.
Yes, I thought
great.
She blew everyone else out of the water with her performance in that movie.
10 of the 33 Marvel movies have made less money than Passion of the Christ, which means 23 Marvel movies have made more money than Passion of the Christ. And some of them aren't even close. Not that that's a measure of anything, but I mean, Thor Love and Thunder, which I think is among the worst, still made $760 million.
But Ragnarok was so fucking good. I really liked Ragnarok.
Oh,
I'm not willing to take comments about it because I just really did.
I enjoyed Ragnarok. I'm not even a huge Thor fan as far as the Thor movies go, and I thought Ragnarok was okay. It's still the Thor humor in general is not really my humor, but I at least enjoyed Ragnarok. But
that was the only proper Thor film that I actually enjoyed was Ragnarok, and there was 4.
I love those brows in number 1 though.
I think what Matt's trying to say.
I'm not gonna count them out. Like I'll watch all of them. I'll be there on opening night. I'll fucking watch all of them. I watched She-Hulk start to finish for fuck's sakes. All of it.
I loved She-Hulk.
Shannon is done speechless.
Did you just say love?
Loved.
Like you have strong positive feelings about She-Hulk.
Yes.
Did you watch Daredevil?
Yes. And Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Iron Fist is the shit one of all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're on that team.
Yeah.
Both of us are on that team. Everybody's on that team. All of us.
She-Hulk neutered. She-Hulk neutered Daredevil in a way that was.
Why?
I'm sorry, but I like when we go meta and have some fun, and that's what it was.
Yeah, it could have done it better. It could have done that and not.
The key to a comedy is it has to be funny. If it's funny, everything is forgivable.
I didn't think it was funny either. I thought I was trying to do too many things at once.
But
I liked it. I was initially all about it. And then it just kind of fell apart at the end. So.
He was the most excited about it because he loved
the
graphic novels.
I really wanted
ranking those Disney Plus shows because I've genuinely liked almost all of them. I think Werewolf by Night is way underrated.
Oh,
that was great.
I agree with that.
I like Moon Knight was brilliant, although I'm nervous about whether or not. I almost hope they don't continue it because I think they can only make it worse. I hope they never continue She-Hulk at all, but I liked the fun. I tell you, the ones I thought were really weak were like the Baby Groot ones. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, while it had a chance to really look at all of the interesting things that happened, during the blip, I just don't, for whatever reason,
focus too much on action.
I'm not a fan of Sam in any context. And it's, I don't know.
I really wanted Secret Invasion to be good, but it did just feel like a letdown.
Tell me if all of us agree that Secret Invasion wasn't good.
It's the worst of all.
However,
as far as I'm concerned, but
if all you ever watched were scenes with Olivia Colman, it's one of the best.
On the very end, though, the very end.
I don't like the super fuck. What is the species called?
The Skrulls.
The Skrulls. I don't like the super Skrulls, and definitely.
I don't like Gaia.
I like the concept though. The invasion concept I think is really good, and I think
the comic series was amazing.
But they just made her that Mary Sue we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Where, like,
right. Yeah.
You could
now,
be
WandaVision
Groot,
and Loki were the
Thor,
best of the Disney Plus series.
What was?
Yeah, Loki.
WandaVision and Loki.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think Loki wins for me, just a little bit over WandaVision, but it's close.
So when's the next tilt shift? so that I know
so they've also reviewed Spider-Man Endgame or Spider-Man No Way Home. So if you guys are up for that sometime, we can definitely enjoy that.
Maybe we'll cure MS next time.
One of the best Marvel movies, at least post Endgame. No Way Home.
I wonder how they would do with that one, since they don't watch like that one. You need to at least be a fan of the thing to care, right? Like,
yeah.
That's why it was the best to be there with like an audience that actually gave a shit, like on opening night, like when Charlie Cox shows up.
Yeah,
totally.
And everybody's like, yes, like feeling it. And then you see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, like people were feeling that all together. Holy shit!
One last donation to put in from Northern Spike. Gave $136. Thank you, Northern Spike, long time watcher of the channel. He also randomly gave us just $100 super chat. So this was very generous.
Golly gee.
But well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. This has been a lot of fun. We for just giving us an excuse to hang out, which we should do more often anyway.
Amen.
Off camera.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're all on the line, so go watch The Line. I guess we don't need to.
Yeah, literally.
There was a show tonight on The Line that we were in direct competition with.
I'm sorry.
I know, and I'm one of the main hosts of that show.
Yeah. So go watch tonight's Skep Talk.
It was more of a scheduling thing though, right? So
go watch Skep Talk after that. The problem is that
it's
all
tough
of
for us.
Yeah. Go rewatch Skep Talk.
Exactly.
Or join them.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate Matt, Arden, Shannon for being here.
Love you guys.
And if you are watching this on replay, just by the way, it is not too late. Up until the end of May, right, Shannon? They can still contribute to Team
so
Total.
the walk is May, I think 26th. So I can accept donations up until that point.
So if you're watching on replay, it's not too late. Please throw a donation in, and Shannon will reset the goal to 80,000 or something. I don't know what you'll reset the goal.
I need to be something feasible because I don't like being disappointed. I would rather be excited that I exceeded it than disappointed that I didn't make it.
Well,
I'll reset it to, what are we at right now?
5522.
5522.
You can go 10.
Gosh, crazy.
Easy.
Is 7,500 insane? Is that
no,
would
10.
that be crazy?
No, you should go 10.
Yeah, I think you can do 10.
I don't think. What if I don't though?
But if you don't, then you still raise 5,500.
Yeah, then you still blew your first goal way out of the water.
Then I feel like I'd thought I was cooler than I was.
I love the fact that Shannon doesn't want to be disappointed, but keeps doing shows with me.
I love you. You're
I love you too, but you're wrong about She-Hulk.
No,
all right.
I'm
not. Well, on that note,
I'm not wrong about my subjective opinion about a show I don't like.
We're going to end the stream and we're going to fight the Hulks off air. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Which is me and Matt.
Bye.